Well, good evening, my brother. How are
What's up,
you?
bro?
That's awesome, man. I think everybody should just shake it off and not worry about Taylor Swift this NFL season.
Oh, okay. We're gonna start right there.
Yeah,
Let's do this, dude. I
just shake it
love
off.
Taylor Swift.
I do too.
I mean, I love her little girls that she takes to the games. We
She's
don't
brought in
fight.
more. Yeah, she's brought in more revenue. Her fans brought in more revenue for the NFL, not just Kansas City, just in general. I mean, I understand they're some of them don't really know football. They just follow Taylor Swift. But I think honestly, we should just not worry about Taylor Swift. Everybody
Bro.
gets they get crazy. Like, you know what? If I know everybody wants to watch. They put on a football game to watch the football game. But you know what? If the Chiefs are playing the Steelers and they want to show Taylor Swift 5 times in the first 5 minutes, so be it. I really don't care.
Bro, it's like this to me. When I saw that what was going on and how Taylor and Travis were being when they're around each other, I was like, oh, this is pretty cute. This is pretty cute. I like this. And then I found out there was just a bazillion little girls that loved Taylor Swift enough that they started watching my football team.
Mm-hmm.
And I 100% was all on board for that, Like,
Yes.
yeah, cool. Because now I've got boys, and so I'm thinking now at least there's going to be some girls at the football team, at the football game. Sure, there's always a lot of ladies at our football games. We've got a cool team like that. But there's a lot more now for these younger boys to go and say hi to, and cute. And they're starting out because the people that they like love each other. That's awesome. Now, imagine if you could be in any other. So we'll just pick a franchise, the Ravens. Imagine if the Ravens could bring in a whole, say, 10 million people that were fans of something else to the Ravens games. Nobody's going to get sick of seeing Dale Jr. guys there and girls, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? But nobody's going to, like, if Lamar would have collaborated with Dale Jr. over the number 8, collaborate together.
Dude, if they would have done
that.
that.
A bunch of Junior fans at the Ravens games, dude. That place would be full with a lot of people that got a lot of money, right?
But Junior Nation, they have a soft spot for the Washington Commanders because that's Dale Jr.'s favorite team.
Pretty cool. But they could have also had an AFC team.
Yeah.
They could have also had an AFC team because I have NFC team that I like, and I have 2 AFC teams I really like. I am a Chiefs fan first and foremost.
Yes.
I am a very big Jets fan supporter. Mm-hmm. I support the Jets fans. I support their team. I hope their team does good for my friends that are the Jets fans. Okay. NFC, I do like the Commanders. Always have since they were the Redskins, man. Always have. Just really like them. I always kind of hope well for them. I don't know why, but that's about the only NFC team I've really legit rooted for, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, how about you? What are your teams, dude? Are you just Buffalo sincerely?
I love the Buffalo Bills. I've been a Bills fan obviously since 91, 92. Since I've been watching football. My dad is a huge Giants fan, so I really loved watching the Giants, and I was rooting for them and Eli when they beat the Patriots, and I was so happy about that. I woke up the whole neighborhood in Florida the first when they beat the Patriots, record. And
yes,
yes, thank you.
Nice.
And
so I never had cool. Your assistant.
Yeah.
Never had any bad feelings for them Giants, dude.
And I root for players. I like players.
I love to do that too.
I loved it when Patrick Mahomes was actually in the league his first couple years. I really did. And no, I have not, Jimmy Jets. I have not been through a table yet.
Have you been
other things? I've been through a lot of other things, but not through a table. Well, happy
Jordan
birthday,
Francis.
Happy birthday.
I have to stop Anthony every time he comes over to the house because I know he's a Bills fan, and I'm afraid he's going to wreck the kitchen table.
But back to what I was saying, is I like players. I love watching Peyton Manning, obviously. I mean,
The general out there for real.
I hate Tom Brady. Every now and then I would root for Tom Brady and the Patriots. Every now and then, I don't care. As a Bills fan, I know the Patriots are arch enemies, but watching that Super Bowl against Seattle, I was rooting for the Patriots that Super Bowl, and I was so happy when the Patriots beat the Seattle Sea Chickens because I just never cared.
That drives me up the wall. You call them that, dude. I like Seattle.
I'm sorry, they're the
Seahawks.
they're to me they're the Sea Chickens. I'm sorry, but
they
no,
used to be AFC, bro.
They did.
They used to be us. Okay, I can't call them the Sea Chickens like you. I like Seattle a lot.
I'm not a Seattle fan.
Not one of my faves, but I never had a bad feeling for them. I've always kind of wished that an AFC West team would play Seattle in a Super Bowl so I could see an AFC West Super Bowl. Just teams from the AFC West, technically.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. Loved watching Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice, baby.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. Another one.
Boss. We're gonna rattle these off because I can go way back.
I know, right? Why? I mean, if we want to go back.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I never really cared for the Cowboys and any of them at all ever.
Really. I really liked watching Aaron Rodgers when he was young.
Yes.
When he like his first 10 years.
I agree.
Was just amazing. Like first 10 years starting, if you will. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because he had to sit 5 years behind Favre?
Yeah.
I mean, goodness. He had to sit a long time, right? Yeah. But once he got out on that field, man, he was just electric. It was fun. And now that he's jobless, like unemployed and stuff, and nobody wants him, dude.
No.
So like he came out and he said like he's okay, he's good with anything, whatever it is, or even retirement, he's okay with that.
This is what I can see might happen with him coming into the NFL is if a major quarterback gets hurt and they want to do that playoff push, maybe he'll come in and
be that merc like Flacco is, basically,
to help save that team and save that season.
I'm telling you what, dude, if Joe Flacco would if he would just if somebody would just give him the starting job and really give him a really good team.
He's back with the Browns, is he not?
Well, yeah, but after they've dilapidated, so even starting for the Browns, he's basically back. He's basically going to, go to a team that's not built for him,
No, I know.
He's going to do well because it's Joe Flacco. He's fucking Superman, bro. I love Joe. I love Joe Flacco. To me, guys like Kurt Warner, Joe Flacco, these guys are tough. They're just tough, and they're good at their craft. You know what I mean? And they can play ball. They play very well. And it just kind of seems like, boy, on the right teams, that guy could be a playoff guy just about any time.
Oh, Jimmy Jets, love you, man.
Green room.
Only time I liked watching Rodgers was when he was waiting 2 hours in the green room to be drafted.
Yeah, he looked pretty sour about that. So, I mean, do you remember why that was, Jimmy? So, when Aaron Rodgers was in college, he was pretty cocky. Okay, he was like kind of a douchebag, so cocky, right?
He's still a douche.
Oh, come on. I mean, I was going to get there, bro. But yeah, so that's literally, he kept getting pushed back, and he was kind of a douche, bro. But once he got there, I mean, he did very well playing ball in the NFL.
Wow.
And I mean, playing ball in a few different ways as well. You can take the meaning however you want, but the guy was a great professional.
Yeah.
At the beginning. Towards this last couple of years, honestly, I had high hopes when he went to the Jets, but I just kind of knew, since it was in the contract, that if he didn't play all of the games or so many games or whatever, that the Jets would get the first round pick back. I kind of, for some reason, felt like he was going to miss a certain amount of games to try to bring in bring back that first round draft pick to build himself a team for the next year. But boy, when he tore his Achilles, I was like, whoa, not like that, you know?
And in all reality, I liked watching Aaron Rodgers, his athleticism.
My bucket list was to see him playing against Patrick Mahomes, but they never got to, man. I had tickets to 2 different games to see that shit and never got to see it.
Yeah, and that's a sad deal, to be quite honest. And his ego and whatever he's got going on, it's just a shit thing, dude. God, it's just horrible. Great talent, just unbelievable.
Jimmy, are you saying you were 4? Wait, what was 4?
That's what I was saying. You were 4 years old at that time?
You were 4 when Aaron was drafted? I feel so old right now, bro.
Remember John Elway? Come on now.
I mean, yeah, I feel pretty old.
Football? Because if you didn't, we're old. No.
What year was he drafted? Because I think I was a teenager. Man.
Oh, no? Oh.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
What would you like to talk about other than how awesome Taylor Swift is? Because I really enjoyed that part of this.
It was a typo. Finger slipped. Well, I wanna come back to what a lot of people are talking about, like the Bills and when they traded up, and this comes to like player development and how the coaches use them and the schemes and everything else. And we talked about this earlier. And
like
Buffalo,
like Worthy, how we got
like Worthy and Mahomes. How Buffalo traded to the Chiefs and the Mahomes became a Chief, and then Worthy became a Chief. But I understand with the talents and what they have, and we talked about this.
I think it was McDuffie. And
McDuffie as
well. McDuffie we got because of we traded Tyreek to Miami. And then I think we traded. Yeah, I think didn't we trade you guys for the pick that we got McDuffie with?
I have no idea.
I don't remember. All I know is we got McDuffie for Tyreek, and then McDuffie just owns Tyreek every time.
But the bottom line is this. Can Mahomes? Would have Mahomes done better in Buffalo if Buffalo would have drafted him, and if Buffalo would have drafted Worthy? If you look at last year and the way Buffalo played, let's go to. I'm going to talk about Worthy real quick. Is Buffalo? Even though they had a couple deep throws here and there, they didn't really play the way that they played when Josh Allen was in the league at the beginning with like John Brown and and all them and some of the speedy receivers that they had with Gabe Davis. Buffalo last year was more everybody eats mentality. It was more, okay, one day it's going to be all Kincaid this game, and then the next game it was all Cook, and then the next game it was Shakir.
It's like people were fighting over who gets the yards that day, right?
No, not necessarily that, but it was like the game plan was like we're just gonna go this way. If it works, we're gonna keep doing it this way. You know what I mean? That's basically what it looked like the last season with Buffalo. I'm not saying that it was like that the whole game, but
we weren't mixing it up enough for you.
Yeah, but the thing about it though was if we would have had Worthy, what if he made a difference? To me personally, I don't think so. The way they played their players last year, the way the scheme was, you know what I'm saying?
No, dude. Josh likes to sling that rock, and
but did he really? I mean, he didn't really. I mean, he had what's his nuts, Hollins.
But would Worthy be as good without, say, the Chiefs receiver coaches and DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, well, that
whispering in his ear, Like the cards just kind of fell perfect for that.
But it's all about player development. It's all about how they coach and how they use them in the schemes and everything else.
Definitely. But Anthony, I like to think that could have opened up Josh's game a little bit because he has a lot of time behind the line. You guys got
would he have been developed a little bit better in Buffalo, or would he been?
I think Worthy would have got free a couple of more times for Buffalo.
Yeah,
and probably had a few more touchdowns his rookie year, and he had some. He had some touchdowns, bro. He didn't. He
had a great DeAndre Hopkins to help teach him the ways of being a receiver.
But if you look at it, even his first game. He got down the field faster than everybody and got a touchdown. That was the longest touchdown that Patrick Mahomes had thrown in a long time. because they didn't have anybody that could get out and get down there, you know? And so I'm thinking that as much time as Josh had and as strong as his freaking arm is, I think he would have had a bunch of those too. So I like to look at it like this. If you took Mahomes and put him at the Bills, you guys would have a dynasty right now. And if you put Josh with the Chiefs, we would be second placed in the dynasty run right now. Mm-hmm. Just kind of like it is, just reversed. You know, I really just, there's just something electric about Mahomes, you know, except for in the Super Bowl. That was pretty dull, you know. It's like he was running around in water, so it was electric.
Dayball had a little bit to deal with Josh Allen and his development and the way they were able to use him and be who he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, a lot of teams, because if you put, like, for instance, like Justin Fields, if he wasn't drafted by the Bears and went to another team, would he have been would he have developed a little bit better and have been a better quarterback?
And see, there you go. There's where Mahomes has an advantage too, because he got to sit behind a literal surgeon named Alex Smith. He just never turned the ball over, dude.
No.
He was playoffs every year, but then just losing the playoffs. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. We're still trying to get playoffs every year. It's just we got a guy that doesn't lose during playoffs.
And
he loses a Super Bowl or a championship.
Maybe. You know, look at Carson Palmer when he was drafted by the Bengals, and with Chad Ochocinco was there, and all those highlights. Remember watching those highlights? Like, oh, let's highlight back to the Bengals game, and look at this. Carson Palmer, Ochocinco, or Chad Johnson. Oh, my heavens, look at the high-scoring football game. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the game, it's like, oh, the Bengals won, or the Bengals, they just barely lost. And it was, you know.
They did so good that those players could just turn eccentric and be crazy and change their name to a number.
Yeah, and then Carson Palmer, he got hurt, and then he was those pain pills, and then it affected his play, and then he wasn't as good as he was in the first two seasons of being in the Bengals, and then he ended up going to Oakland or the Raiders or whatever, and then he didn't do crap. He was shitty there, and then the Arizona Cardinals like, hey, come over here, and I'm gonna help you out here, and he revitalized his career. They made it to the NFC Championship game or whatever it was. I don't think they got to the Super Bowl with Carson Palmer, but they were
good enough, though.
You know, they were great. You know, they had who was their wide receiver, Fitzgerald and Huzmanzada or whatever it was, and dude, they were amazing. You know, and Carson Palmer was back to where he was at when he was his first 2 years or 3 years as a Bengal. You know what I mean? And it was amazing to watch somebody like him, and this is where I'm getting to this, and why I said this is with Justin Fields. I would love to see Justin Fields do well in a Jets uniform and make that division competitive.
Yeah. Gosh, that'd be fun, dude.
Because
he's a good quarterback. There's nothing wrong with him.
There's so much talent. It's all about how you develop them and the schemes that you put them in. And
if you look at his strengths, I think his strengths and his play fit that kid that's in the draft named Milroe. Yeah. And if the Jets pick up Milroe and already have a team basically being trained by a guy that plays a lot like him, I think it's just like a perfect storm. And maybe Milroe comes in at the end of the year and just makes the Jets fans love him. And then suddenly you got Justin Fields at a backup position, and which is a perfect storm as well, you know, because you'll have this new kid that you want to be your franchise guy and a guy like Justin Fields that fits the team, because the team's being set up by Glenn right now to fit Fields and Milroe. I really think that's the move that the Jets are going to make. And I know that there's film out there that show the bad days that Milroe had. But if you watch the good days that guy had, holy cats, dude, that guy is something else and really has the talent, just needs to be sharpened up, you know, just sharpened up, you know, polish him up a bit with your good new coaching staff, and train him up with a guy like Fields he's been through the ringer, bro. I mean, he's had to be out there with some of the shittiest teams I've seen.
Coaching does matter, and the way they develop them.
You're darn right.
It's just the way it is. Because like I said earlier, Mahomes and Worthy, you can put them into another thing. They'll play great because they have the talent, but are they going to be as good as they are? You know what I'm saying? And Jimmy Jets comes in. Please God, no. A polished turd is still a turd.
All right, well,
but look at Josh Allen, Jimmy Jets.
But sometimes it just like with Mahomes wasn't the best one, like the highest ranked guy in the draft. People were like sour on him. They said, "Oh, the guy doesn't have a good arm. He's had bad games and all this other stuff." Mm-hmm. But the right coaches can see that talent, and they can build a team for that talent. And then all of a sudden, you've got a guy like Mahomes. Maybe Milroe could turn into a guy like that that's taken later on, but still shows up to be the guy. And I mean, honestly, there's not one of these guys in this draft that are ranked in the top 100 picks, which Milroe is. There's not a single one of them ranked in the top 100 as far as like PFF deciding who's the top ranked guys for the draft. Not one of them is a bad player. Not one of them is a bad player. I mean, honestly, if you look through everybody that's gone and said that they want to go into the draft, holy crap, maybe this isn't the greatest quarterback draft, but boy, we've seen some quarterback drafts that were just something else, man. There's always one or two you really think are going to be great, and then they just suck. There's one or two that people think, oh, they're probably never going to make it. And all of a sudden, bam, these guys have Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Nobody thought when Mahomes was drafted at 11 that he was in that quarterback draft too. Because like there was some gunslingers in that draft. Yeah, Baker Mayfield in that draft, bro. I mean, and you had Mahomes, and who else was in there? Oh my God. Anyway, nobody thought Mahomes was going to do what he did. And so sometimes with the right coaches and the right setup, which the Jets have for a guy that plays a lot like Fields, sometimes there's that amazing domino effect that lets it really happen.
Well, let me say something, Jimmy Jets. I don't think that he was necessarily a turd. Is not what I'm saying. Because I mean, obviously he's a Buffalo Bills and he's MVP of the league, but Allen was overlooked, obviously, by many colleges, obviously. But when he was drafted into the NFL, he wasn't as talented as he was. He had to be developed into who he is now.
But he could throw a ball clean out of a stadium.
Oh yeah, well I get that, but
I mean, the kid from Wyoming had an arm, bro. He just needed, like you're saying, he needed a coach to go, we don't want it between there, we want it between there.
Yeah.
Give him a good system.
Like I'm saying though, is I forgot what I was going to say.
You were talking about the same thing, dude. Like he just needed the coaching to.
Oh, there was more. There was more. I forgot.
I'm sorry, brother.
No. It's all good. No, but I mean, because without Dayball, in my opinion, I don't think Allen would be as developed as he is. I mean, he's
why?
I'm trying to explain here because like I'm saying, I mean, he has the talent, obviously, right? But I mean, he had to work, he had to do this, he had to do that. Obviously, a lot of it was him on the off season and everything else. But you needed the right people to help him, so that he could, he was able to have that quick release, or the way he was able to develop and be better throwing the ball and being square instead of off the leg and doing this, and to where it was going this way instead of this way, where he needed to be. You know what I mean?
Do you think they needed all those as a running back quarterback, as a running quarterback?
Say it one more time.
I say, do you think maybe they use him too much as a running quarterback?
I do think so. I think so. I do think so. I think they have the talent around him to where they can utilize them a little bit more and then use him in the playoffs. I think Allen needs to use his teammates more And I just feel that if Joe Brady, I just think if Joe Brady can open up that playbook a little bit more, be more creative during the season, and hold back some of the plays in the playoffs, I think they can. I think Buffalo can advance even more. I felt like we talked about this. Buffalo had an opportunity to do something in the AFC Championship, and they did not because they kept on running that damn tush push, and they kept on they kept on running some of the same plays over and over again.
Yeah.
You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So of course, you know what? Let's put pressure on this because they're not going to do this. They should have been more creative. I felt like the creativity was in the regular season, and then when the playoffs hit, like Joe Brady just stopped becoming creative.
It's like he picked the 10 greatest plays that they had, and they were just going to stick to those.
And so I felt like you got to do what the game presents to you as well. Like you have to play within the game because you can't focus. Like I'm over the fact that it's like, oh, it's the referee's fault that Buffalo lost. No, honestly, it was their play. It was the way they played. They didn't have the they should have had in the regular season that they had to be as successful in the AFC Championship, in my opinion. I just feel like if Joe Brady be more creative, Bobby Babbage, this is his year to shine. Can that defense be a top 5, top 10 defense?
Do you get rid of him if it's not?
No, work on it one more time.
Really?
Maybe
it's going to give him a pass?
Depends on how the defense was, Yeah. It's simple as that. But in critical situations, Buffalo needs to do better in critical situations.
Well, you got Bosa for a 1-year contract, right?
I believe so.
Okay,
and then Tre'Davious White just came back to Buffalo for a 1-year.
Is that a 1-year contract as well?
6.8, yeah, up to $6.8 million.
You guys are doubling down for a good run.
Trying to. We gotta get it done. This has, I feel like this is the year to where Joe Brady has to show that say, hey, look, I did great the last, since I've taken over the offense, as a coordinator, that I'm going to continue to grow and to be creative, right?
Yeah.
And Bobby Babbage, his second year, this is the year. This is, hey, look, we kind of had a couple games that got away from us.
Yeah.
I'm going to nip this in the bud. This draft, it's all about defense. It has to be about defense. Maybe in the later rounds, pick a couple offensive guys, but the first
you can't just go defense though.
I think the first 3-4 rounds, it should be all defense.
Okay, I can see that.
It should be all defense.
7 rounds, right?
Yeah, and then in the latter rounds, pick up a running back, pick up a wide receiver, pick up a center or whatever it may be, an offensive guard or a tackle.
Do you know what picks? Do you know what picks the Bills have? Because the Chiefs have in the first round the 31st pick, second round the 63rd, third round the 66th pick. So we go in between the second and third, we take the last pick of the second, and then like literally the first pick of the third round. And then fourth round, third round, we also get the 95th pick. And then the fourth round, the 133rd pick, 226th pick, then the 251st and the 257th pick for the 7th round. And that's all we get for this draft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the rest have been either used up in prior years to go for those runs and stuff. But it seems to me I would like to use that 31st pick on the number 31 rated guy in the entire draft, Tre'Veon Henderson. I've been high on him since I talked about him the first time anybody even talked about draft, even on our show here, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, that was right after free agency. And I talked about how I wanted him.
Yes, Chris, that's what you heard. That's a fact. It's happening. Tre'Davious White is back in Buffalo for one more year.
Yeah, that's scary. Dang it.
The Jets said, okay, well, what pick do you take Melrose in?
So I don't know what picks the Jets have. I know they have some good picks, and they have multiple picks in a couple of rounds. So I would say, gosh, if he's still there, in the second round, jump on him. I mean, he may not be what's ranked as the best quarterback or anything, but there's only a few decent quarterbacks in this draft. They're all good, don't get me wrong, but there's only a few that I would reach out and try to grab if I was in need of a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I think if I had to set up the way that the Jets are setting it up for a mobile quarterback, this kid could be like a Michael Vick style of player. You know, he's just like Josh Allen was. You've got to dial that arm in, but he's got good strength there. The kid's very athletic. He got a little wild and out of hand in one game, and that's basically where all of his lowlights came from. The rest of his season was just fantastic. And so, I mean, I like Milroe. Maybe if he falls to the third, gosh, you can't let that by because somebody's going to snag him, you know? And so I would say take him in the second round. If you got a couple of picks in the second round, jump on him, you know? For the Jets.
Yeah.
It just seems to be it's like having a guy that plays like Josh Allen, like almost identical to Josh Allen, and you see him coming up the draft, you're going to put him right behind Josh Allen. You want that guy because that's the perfect backup, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and you're going to do this maybe not with Josh because Josh is automatically the starter, but if you were looking for a franchise quarterback and you got a team already set up for Justin Fields, why wouldn't you take a guy that
maybe the Browns will pick him up?
Is mobile like that, you know, because Fields is pretty mobile. He's got a decent arm, you know, and he's a good system quarterback. He's gotten better and better since he left Chicago. So, I mean, look what he was doing in Pittsburgh, right?
He was doing great. I think they should have kept him the whole time.
That blew my mind that they benched him. Yeah. You know, he was doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know he's not the end all, save all, you know, but he's good enough to do it with a quarterback or while you're developing your franchise quarterback that plays a hell of a lot like him. And you guys got great coaches over there in New York. Jimmy Jets, you guys got great coaches over there. And Aaron Glenn is changing something, man. The whole feel of the Jets is actually cooler now. And this is from a guy outside looking in. There's a change going on. If you guys can't see it, I think maybe you're still just numb to all of the wishy-washy shit you've been through for so many years. But there's something new over there in New York. And it's exciting for me with you guys being my second, you know, like my like who am I going to watch since my team's not playing? Oh, darn right I'll watch. Or like, and that's even if they're playing the same day. I want to try to watch both games. If they're playing at the same time, that drives me up the wall because I kind of want to see how the Jets do. You know, I still Chiefs first and foremost. But gosh dang, I do the same thing with the Commanders for the NFC. I'll go watch the Commanders every game they play. I'll watch the Jets every game they play. Fortunately for me, I've been able to see literally almost every single game the Chiefs play lately because everybody wants to watch the Chiefs. It's exciting. Everybody wants to watch the Bills. The Bills are on TV all the damn time now. It's fun as shit these days, you know? I mean, remember, Anthony, when our teams were kind of like mediocre and they were just never televised? Drove us up the wall, you know? I mean, we could watch it, but you'd have to dig it out and like watch it online or just
before Facebook put a squash to it, there was a brother on the Bills Mafia page that would play all the Bills football games, and it was awesome. And I appreciate that dude 110% because it was awesome. I can get on Facebook and watch the football game. I remember I was picking up my kid in Missouri and coming back home, and it was only a preseason game, but I pulled over the rest stop to watch the Bills playing a preseason game.
Yeah.
On the phone.
Heck yeah.
You know, because it was on Facebook, and I was like, we're watching this. So we stayed the whole time until it was over, and then we got back on the road and came home.
4 hours sitting at a rest stop
Yeah.
watching the Bills play. But you couldn't drink any beers.
Damn right.
Oh, sounds like torture.
You know,
At least there was a bathroom nearby.
Yeah, I did that whenever we were headed to Oregon to see my dad when the Bills were playing the damn Patriots and the Bills. Oh, and Allen got smacked at helmet to helmet, and the Bills lost in that game. And it was a close game, and Buffalo lost to the Patriots, and I was at the rest stop, and I was so mad. I was like, "You suck." So, but Jimmy Jets come in here and says can't take a player in the first 3 rounds that won't start till year 2 when you have more pressing needs.
Okay, but look at it like this. The Jets' pressing needs can be taken care of first round, the most pressing need. And then other guys are literally going to keep falling because the Jets' needs are different than a lot of these other teams' needs, man. And the guys that I see, so actually Connor did a quick little who do I want per round thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was pretty stinking spot on, except for he's counting on people to drop a little farther than I really expect they're going to. And that's the problem with mock drafts is because one guy above you takes this guy. Now you're stuck on the next guy down on your list, and you gotta hope he's still there, and then just take the absolute best guy on your list, the next pick. And and then what if that guy's taken too? Now you're on number 3 on your list.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I would, if I had Justin Fields as my starting quarterback, I'd be looking for a franchise quarterback. Nothing against Justin Fields, but Chicago developed him. He's going to be good. He's never going to be great. And so what I would want is a guy that has some flashes of some Michael Vick style play, man. That's what it's coming down to. That's how Josh
was great.
Takes off running with that ball.
Mm-hmm. Dude, Michael Vick was a great quarterback until the whole thing.
Dude, he was
dogfighting.
Something else except for all that.
Yeah.
Stupid, silly shit.
He was great. He was going to be the next NFL MVP, and I don't think he was an MVP at all. I could stand correct. I don't
know if he got it,
no.
But I know once he got busted doing the dog fighting,
he went downhill from there.
All of us just went, no, dude, that's it. You know, he basically canceled himself. You know,
yeah.
And he went to prison.
He did
for it, right? And then he comes in, gets out of prison, and all of a sudden,
helped him out.
All of a sudden has a job in the NFL. I was like, oh, so the reason he had a job, I'm thinking, was maybe there was a couple of NFL execs that were at a couple of them dog fights, and they didn't.
Tony Dungy was helped him, and was trying to get him back into coming to the NFL.
Well, and if I know anything about Dungy, it was because he knew that the kid wasn't burned out yet. Mm-hmm. He still was going to have a lot of spark, and he'll still put guys in the seats.
Yeah, he vouched for that kid to come back, and he was happy to see him. He became an Eagle, and then
yeah, man, and he did a great.
Suffered from the Madden curse.
That's a weird curse, that Madden thing. Once you're on the cover of Madden, you just fall off. They say, but Josh didn't.
Neither did Mahomes.
That's true. They broke that curse, dude. I mean, the Chiefs have broken a lot of curses because we were cursed to lose first round in the playoffs.
Who was last year's bad? Was it CMC last year that was on the Madden for 2024?
Oh, I'm trying.
Or was that Allen?
I thought it was Allen, bro. I thought Allen made the 2024. I don't know who's on this next one that's coming out, or this 2025.
I'm gonna Google this here.
It's got to be Saquon. Why wouldn't you put him on there, dude?
21. Who was on the 2024? They don't have anybody. Well, it's crazy. So Madden 23. Let's go back here. Oh, Allen was on Madden 24, and Madden 25 is CMC.
It is CMC.
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
That guy's tough, dude. I like him.
I do too.
He's the Flash, bro. He's Flash
Wow.
Gordon. That's fun stuff.
Wikipedia here. Let's click on this.
I think curses are made to be broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Jets curse is about to be busted, bro. I think it's about to be broken. I think the Jets can come real close this year, even make it a fight to take second in the East. I think the Patriots will end up taking second in the East because Miami's just in shambles, bro. It's just a hot mess over there. I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, I lied. I stand corrected here. What? Hold on. The 25 release date and cover for. Okay, so the Madden 25 released and cover date athlete revealed. So it is CMC.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah.
Why are you calling yourself a liar when you're telling the truth?
I thought maybe it was false for some reason.
Okay, so let's see. Who is your? It's obvious who my favorite guy in the draft is. I want Tre'Veyon Henderson. I think he's going to fit with the Chiefs with Andy Reid's scheme, just like a Lego block, just click, and it's just going to be here we go. We've now look what we can build. I think he's Henderson is a running back that's a lot like Jerick McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, you remember always hearing Jerick McKinnon's name every time the Chiefs were playing and he was on the field. Just that little bit of everything utility back that has power like Priest Holmes power, but agility, able to see the field as well. Good field vision, which is something Isaiah kind of struggled with a little bit. So I think with Kareem as a good workhorse powerhouse, and with Isaiah with all that, Pacheco with all of that explosiveness, and then add a Jerick McKinnon again. Holy cats, dude! That could really turn the Chiefs into the old we're gonna put 40 points up team. We lost some guys on defense, but the defense kind of looks like it got better. And so I think in the draft we're going to be able to just pretty much go through our list of who we want and literally take them way before their time. I think the Chiefs are gonna make crazy draft picks that people are gonna go, what the heck? Why would they take him? Like he wasn't even scheduled to go this round and stuff, right? But that's what we're gonna do. I think we've still got the talent. If you look at the roster, we've still got guys that have been to the Super Bowl 3 times now. And it's still a good full stacked roster. But I think in the draft, and I've seen a lot of other Chiefs podcasters and stuff starting to look at my Tre'Veyon Henderson and say his name a lot on their shows lately. That makes me happy because I think I was the first one that got real high on him, So Tre'Veyon, I want you, bro. I love you, bro. You're mine.
Is he a running back?
I'm gonna watch you.
He's a running back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got some juice, bro. That kid's got some juice.
Yeah. I think Buffalo should target Kenneth Grant.
Nice.
Because he's a very disruptive run defender. Buffalo has given up a lot of rushing yards last year, and I think they need to defend that run a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that's your guy.
Yeah,
that's your number. That's the guy you want first.
Kenneth Grant, defensive.
My first pick is Tre'Veyon, and that's cool, dude. Because you guys need defense, right? And my defense
needs somebody to stop the run. I think our linebackers are good as long as they stay healthy. I think we have an opportunity to be better than what we were last year, at least defense wise as a whole.
I totally believe that, dude. I believe that 100%. And literally, all we've talked about is how Buffalo needs to fill those couple of spots on the defense, and they would have been there. And so you bringing the guys back and getting the guys in free agency, and then hitting up Grant first pick. I mean, that's going to make that kid feel good, dude. He's going to work hard for
Yes.
you, know? And he's a hell of a player too. Gosh, have you watched his highlights?
No, I have not.
Yeah, he's a fucking animal. Pardon my language, bro. He's a fucking animal. He's a fucking animal, and I don't want to have to play against him when he gets, say, his second or third year in the league. You know what I mean? That's why I need Henderson. You're going to take a guy like him. I'm really going to need somebody that can bust in there like a Priest Holmes style, you know, or a Jerick McKinnon style, where all of a sudden he's just free, you know.
Yeah, Buffalo primarily can't speak. My gosh, they basically run a cover 3 scheme. The emphasis of zone coverage.
Cover 3.
Yeah, cover 3. Excuse me. And particularly, you know, yeah. So that's what we do. Cover 3 scheme is what we have. We do have, you know, a lot. Buffalo. They definitely, what they do on their defensive line is they definitely rotate them out a lot. Sometimes they run 3 or 4, you know, defense, you know. So I think as long as we find a defensive tackle in the draft, and to help stop the run for the main thing, and then with Tre'Davious White coming back, I wonder if he'll, and probably is going to be his last year in Buffalo, is what it's going to probably look like.
So he'll retire.
Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll actually revitalize his career and actually become the White that he was before he ended up getting that ACL.
Yeah, that's what we all hope, right?
Yeah, you know, I would love to see that. You know, and then I have a feeling that Buffalo will probably draft a cornerback in this draft as well. I think we're looking at a cornerback. I don't know which one at the time, but I think when it comes down to it, is I think we need a defensive tackle. We need to find a good cornerback. And maybe another safety, you know, and then
so just straight defense across the board.
Really, I think the first three draft picks.
Man, you need a receiver out there that can start learning from Josh now, because you're not going to be able to have.
And then that's where you have, because Buffalo has pick number 30. We have 2 second-round picks, 56 and 62, and then we have 2 fourth-round picks, 109, 132. And then we have 3 fifth-round picks, 169, 170, and 173, basically all back-to-back in the 5th round. We can find a sleeper with a wide receiver that nobody hasn't seen, pick him up, and then he'll be amazing.
I think I think you're going to have to make that move for receiver sooner than that, bro, or you're going to be picking through some bruised fruit. You got to get one of the freshies.
There's always that one. Let's look at receivers that were picked in the 4th and 5th round that were Hall of Famers. How about that?
Do it.
You know, I seriously, you know.
Mm-hmm. I get it, bro.
Sorry, forgive me. I'm trying to type.
Oh, you're good, man. I mean, if you don't mind, I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I would like to see the Chiefs pick up that kid named Simmons. And now there's a tackle, right? And he seems like a good, big, strong kid. I think he's the kid. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, I think the Chiefs need to. We've got a couple of good tackles that were thrown in there their first year. That's not supposed to happen to a left tackle. You gotta develop those guys, you know, and really train them up. And so I think everybody needs tackles. Everybody wants them and stuff. But I think we also need some edge rushers, you know, looking towards the future, or we're going to need a tight end. And there's guys in the draft that we can get. Like there's a kid named Arroyo. Mm-hmm. I like him. I think we might get lucky and grab him.
Puka Nacua was a 5th round pick in 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember that kid Lindsay that was the running back for Denver?
Corey Lindsay, I think it was.
Was it was it Corey or was it? I don't remember. Lindsay was his last name, and that kid came out of nowhere. He was like the Broncos' last 1,000-yard rusher. And so, what I'm afraid is the Broncos are going to swoop in before us and take my Tre'Veyon.
Oh, that's Philip Lindsay. Sorry,
Philip Lindsay. Yeah, that kid was dude. He was a little fireball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he was a local kid from right there too. And man, once he got that ball in his hands, you could tell he wanted to go show his grandpa he could do this or something cool, you know. And he really did well. That was the last time the Broncos had a good running back, bro.
Damn.
I mean, what year was that?
Yeah.
What year was he drafted?
94, I think.
That is it's got to be late. It's got to be. I thought it wasn't that long.
No, 1994. He was born in 94. I apologize.
I was going to say, there's no way.
I read that wrong.
It had to have been like 2007 or 8. I was like, no way.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was born in 94.
Was it like 2007 or 8? What year was he taken?
2018?
Oh, yeah. Not 04, but 14, I was thinking.
Yeah, he was
or 17.
Draft.
It's about the same time as Mahomes, dude.
Yeah.
And that kid was just a fireball. And he wasn't no early pick or nothing. And I mean, honestly, look at Isaiah Pacheco. He wasn't no early pick. So you're going to be able to find him if you get lucky. But those are all a gamble.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I always say, if you're counting on one fancy draft pick to make your team just something different, you're looking in the wrong place. You should have started with coaches. But the Jets did. They started with coaches. So I think they could take a guy like Milroe, even in the third, if he falls that far, and develop into a perennial playoff guy. And literally from every – go ahead, sorry.
Watch Milroe be an Arizona Cardinal.
You think?
That wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, honestly, he'd be doing better down there than Kyler Murray, and I'll go watch him. It's not that far from us, bro.
Buffalo needs a deep threat, a true deep threat with some speed.
Yeah.
They could have had Worthy, and they went with
but you still keep talking about taking guys later on. But some of these guys they're going to get the ones that would be a legit instant in the game and deep threat. They're going to be scooped quick.
Well, the question is, what position would you save in the later rounds to be a sleeper pick that would help your team? Would it be a defensive player or an offensive player? Okay, obviously, a lot of those offensive players are in the first 2 rounds, right?
Well, not necessarily, because sometimes you see a guy that's just got so gosh dang much potential that you're like, if we don't jump on this right now, somebody else is going to take him because we have to wait 30, 40 picks before we get another try. There's no way he's going to fall there. And I've seen guys go right away, like right away for defense, And maybe they do great, maybe they don't do great, but still, you have to, if you're going to be gambling anyway, sometimes you shoot the moon, bro.
I still say at least the first 2 picks for Buffalo needs to be defense.
I can see that too.
Because Buffalo has
I wouldn't wait too long.
Picks.
Maybe trade up and grab a receiver.
Buffalo has in second round we have the 56 pick, and 6 plays later we have the 62 pick.
Okay, so maybe use one of those, or even. I mean, yeah, I'd say.
I say the first 2 picks should be defense, and that 3rd pick could be an offensive player.
I'd say use one of those or trade up,
and
maybe offer somebody a late pick for next year.
We have a 5th round pick that we can trade up or give up. We give maybe we can give a 2nd and a 5th round pick, and maybe
then snag the best receiver available, dude. That's what Josh really needs. He needs that guy that'll get down there and get open. I think, and I realize that you guys need the defense, but you've already taken free agency and said, look, boom, here's beef. Our defense is beef, but you're going to need somebody for after that, those 1-year contracts, right? So I can see that. But you're also going to need the receiver because, you're not going to be keeping these older guys that are worth a lot of money for a long time. And so the Chiefs have been able to do this turnover thing, and we've had to make a lot of weird trades and finagling and just literally just trading cards with people, trading cards to get a better card. And then all of a sudden you get your Charizard or whatever it is, But this year we can just literally take whoever we want the most each time. And I think we might get lucky and get Henderson first round if the Chiefs are listening to me. And I know that Mr. McMullen, he's one of the Chiefs podcasting guys, right? Just a genius. Today I watched a video of him finally talking good about Treveon fitting the way I see him to fit like a McKinnon style of player. And so that right there says to me, maybe there's a chance I get this kid,
Yeah.
And then
I agree with you, Jimmy Jets.
There is good value in later rounds. There always is. There always is. I mean, there's some good talent. The whole draft. Pardon me. The whole draft is great talent. But do you let it slip by? That's my point. You can't just wait.
Sometimes it's a gamble. You gamble. You pick who you pick. I've been looking at Wikipedia for the Buffalo Bills since 2018, since Josh Allen was drafted, and I watched a lot of their draft picks, and a lot of them are Pro Bowlers and are still with the team. Some of them are, and some of them are with another team and are kicking some serious butt. So I think.
All right, that's legit, dude. I get it. You guys could probably wait and just kind of, weed through them and find the freshies, for sure.
Allen wanted Coleman. That's what happened, and they went away from Worthy and picked Coleman instead.
If we watch the draft together, bro, and the Chiefs take Henderson, you're gonna see me just like levitate right off my chair. Well, hey, I'm gonna run in and grab a couple more brewskis. It's just gonna take me like 10 seconds, but then I want to talk about MVPs.
Yes, we can do that.
Awesome. Right back, dude.
Yeah, the draft is loaded with starters, not blue chippers after the top 5. I really do think that Buffalo should. I'm sticking with it. I understand what Jamie's saying, but I'm going to stick with what I believe, and I'm believing Buffalo needs a defensive tackle, and then maybe get a cornerback or a safety, one of the two, and then we can pick up an offensive player. That's just my opinion. I mean, with all these 1-year contracts Buffalo has, and what I've seen with the free agency, I mean, we do have Joshua Palmer that we signed to a 3-year deal. Joshua Palmer was a Charger last year and now is a Buffalo Bill. So the Bills are building out their 2025. This is on ESPN. I was just reading this.
But you're taking Chargers players who've been owned by the Chiefs their entire career.
But you want to know what? Let me tell you something. Josh Palmer. Okay, now this is where I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit on this, because it's because Josh Allen is a little bit more athletic than Herbert. He can break away from that defense. Joshua Palmer can create separation.
Yeah.
And he can do a lot of things that Buffalo wasn't able to do last year on certain situations. With signing him, and that just makes that offense just a little bit better. That's why I think that, honestly, we can sign a receiver later in the round, because we have Palmer, we have Coleman, we have Khalil Shakir,
Yeah,
Okay.
you've got a good roster.
And we have our tight ends, Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. Come
Kincaid,
on,
dude.
man.
I like Kincaid.
I know you want him as a Chief, but I'm telling you, keep your goddamn grubby hands off of him, brother.
You watch your language, mister. I'm going to take him if I want him. You know what? That's funny. I've always, since you guys drafted him, I've always liked Kincaid.
You've always told
I
me.
hope he sees our podcast someday and knows how much you like him and how much even a Chiefs fan has always talked good about him.
And he's a Utah. He's a Utah. He's a Canadian.
That's what I'm talking
Canadian.
about,
Went to the University of Utah from a U.
right down the road from us.
Yep. You know, I love Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
He brought Cole Bishop in, and I'm hoping Cole Bishop does better
The
this
only
year.
downside to Kincaid is he was stuck on a team that doesn't utilize tight ends. So he's doomed to only get 600-700 yards, which is actually fantastic for a tight end.
Last year was the year that we expected the tight ends to do more, and they didn't. Because the year before that,
right,
Dalton Kincaid, as a rookie, had more targets his first year than his second year.
Okay,
and
so
he did a lot better.
I'm going to go back in time a little bit on this one.
All
okay,
right.
So a few years ago in the draft, man, safeties and cornerbacks were just goddamn phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was a weird progression because when those guys came up and it was their turn to do it, they were all so goddamn good that you just really couldn't throw the ball anymore. And everybody knows it. You guys still did it, but not a lot. You guys had Josh running the ball as much as for as many times as a lot of running backs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so it was like last year, it came to a point where that draft the draft from before that had all these great running backs, and then all of a sudden the running backs are taking over. Now look who's doing great. So last year was a big running back,
it was,
and it literally almost made a change in the NFL to where everybody went, oh shit, we got to start watching running backs again. And so that's why I'm thinking you got to really have a good running back core to be able to keep them honest, but you're going to have to get them receivers because it's going to start cracking open again. And so if you don't got those receivers by next year, this coming season feels like it's going to be a wide receiver season.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and then next year, I got a feeling it might go back to another like a tight end season or utility back season where there's a lot of pitches out wide, and jet sweeps and stuff like that. Okay. And so it evolves in a funny way, depending on who was great in the draft.
Yeah.
You have a great quarterback and receiver draft, before Josh and Patrick got in there. So we had a couple years in a row with great quarterbacks coming out of the draft. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the couple years before that were great receivers coming out of the draft. And a couple years before that were like, great tight ends coming out of the draft. So it's like a cycle, and it does it all the time. And you can almost feel what's coming after a while. So I really think you're going to need to get some receivers because for the next couple of years, pardon, you're going to have guys for out of my team, we're going to have Rashee Rice back to healthy.
Yeah.
And then we've still got good older, I would say, journeyman receivers like Hollywood Brown. And then we've still got Trav and Noah for our tight ends. But we've got that new kid, Worthy, and he is ready to spin, baby. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And now what we need really bad, in my opinion, for Kansas City's offense is Tre'Veon Henderson. Because he will just, and tighten up. Sure, in the free agency, we took care of some line problems. We had tackle, left tackle problems. But that was kind of taken care of in free agency. so the offense looks like it can start to chug again. But now you definitely draft, a tight or a tackle, like a left tackle. Developed a couple of guys we've got that are decent left tackles. They were just not quite big enough and strong enough and trained up enough to really be fighting against guys like Max Crosby, bro. Like, that's hard. Of course he's getting through. He's like, I mean, it's going to be hard for my guys against a fellow like Bosa. You know what I mean? I mean, they're just animals. They're animals. And so you're going to need a few guys so you can alternate them and keep them strong while he wears his ass out.
Mm-hmm.
And, with Bosa, it was hard to wear him out, dude. He freaking go get her.
Yeah. So Kincaid's receptions his first year had 73 receptions. Last year, he only had 44. That was almost down by half, almost.
44 receptions for what, like 500 yards or something?
448 yards for 44.
Okay, pushing 500 yards. Mm-hmm. So 10 yards or so.
10 yards, 10.2 yards the average.
Perfect. Reception. That's fantastic for a tight end. It really is. It really is.
His receptions were down by a lot. So
well, tight ends aren't, other than some goddamn hulking magician like Gronkowski.
Well,
tight ends aren't supposed to get 1,000 yards.
You know what's crazy was the year before that. It was kind of like like Kelsey, right? His first, like when Mahomes was there, Kelsey was the guy, and they were always tight ends were like the biggest targets.
Look up how many 1,000-yard seasons Kelsey has as a tight end. That's unheard of. Tight ends are 600-yard guys in a season, right? And then Kelsey has multiple 1,000-yard seasons, like 6 or 7 of them. Just how many do you have?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.
Wow, dude, that's nuts. That's nuts. And then he actually sat 2 years ago and didn't get that one because he was 16 yards shy. He needed
his best season was 2020. He had 1,400 yards receiving, over 100.
Dude, he had receivers in the league pissed off because he was, as a tight end, he was the number 1 receiver in the league all fucking year till right barely at the end.
Check it out. His lowest yardage as a tight end was this past year at 823 yards, and that was his second year in the NFL, he had 862.
So over 800 yards is his worst year.
Yeah. And
so all that says to me is people think that's slowing down. What the fuck did your tight end do?
Right.
For real. I mean, for real. What did your tight end do? Because I know my receivers also got about 800 yards.
Yeah, Travis Kelce definitely wasn't the Travis Kelce he's been beforehand with the yards in the sense. But he's still the same guy. He still gets the double coverage. He still gets the attention, so everybody else gets to eat.
And you better double team him because he's a Hulk. He's huge. He's like almost as good looking as Gronkowski too. I mean, how many 1,000-yard seasons did Gronkowski have?
Gronkowski?
Yeah. I bet he had 8, and then Travis didn't take the record from him. I don't know. I bet he had more than Travis. But I don't know. Travis had a shit ton. He might be the best tight end that ever played.
Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce, not Travis, Rob Gronkowski, he had 1, 2, 3, 4 1,000 receiving yards seasons. That was it. His last year in the NFL, he had 802 yards.
Wonder what Tony Gonzalez did.
Tony Gonzalez.
Because we had Tony, and then we, as Chiefs fans, we were so goddamn spoiled from having such a great tight end like Tony Gonzalez that it took most of the other fans 3 or 4 years to realize what Trav was doing. And I was year 1 going, ooh, if we could get him to stop being a shithead to the refs. But he'd just go be a shit to the refs. Like he'd pull out his towel and throw it at the ref like a flag.
Yeah, he only had 4 1,000 receiving yards season.
See, he's up there with Gronk.
Yeah.
He's up there with Gronk. And yeah, so you got a guy like Gonzalez and Gronk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even George Kittle. I bet George Kittle's got a couple, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get to that caliber of a tight end, you get so fucking spoiled that you think the next guy should have to just really produce. And poor Noah Gray. How many yards did Noah have last year?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kittle has 1, 2, 3, 4 1,000 receiving yards as well. Not too bad. He actually had over 1,000. He had 1,106 yards last season.
I just knew George Kittle would be up there, dude.
And Noah Gray actually kicked some serious butt. I like Noah Gray. I think Noah Gray
do too, man.
Awesome, dude. I really do.
Yeah.
I think that kid is awesome. And you know what's crazy is he had – okay, so this is crazy. In 2023, he only had 28 receptions for 305 yards.
Yeah.
Last year, he damn near almost doubled it with 40 receptions, 437 receiving yards.
Yeah.
And he had the most touchdown receptions in his career. He actually has more touchdowns receptions last year than combined from 21 to 23, because he only had 1 in 21, 1 in 22, and 2 in 23. He freaking was phenomenal. He oh man, he had 4 in the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, man. Here. So I look at like Kincaid a lot like I look at Noah. Like, imagine if he was the number 1 tight end, right? Mm-hmm. And then but with Kincaid, I'm like, imagine if Kincaid could be on the Chiefs, you know? Like he could be up there, dude. He could be getting those big yards. I see the potential, and we have the coaches that help that sort of thing. We also have the style that helps that. We also have a style that really needs a guy like Jerick McKinnon back, and that's another reason I want Tre'Von Henderson so goddamn bad it's making me crazy. Anthony, let's talk about MVP.
MVP, yes. I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people in the chat. Well, not in the chat, not this chat, but in general, that have stated that Josh Allen,
not you guys.
Yeah, like this year, his MVP was more of a petty MVP because he wasn't able to get past the Chiefs, and of course, with the rules change, the same since Buffalo couldn't beat the Chiefs, now they're going to change some things so that Buffalo can try to do something. I just find it but now back to the MVP. I just think it's bullcrap because Allen deserved that MVP. He should have had that MVP 2 years ago.
Yes.
He should have had Lamar Jackson's second MVP.
Bro, have you ever watch a game and the refs throw a flag that was just a crock of shit, then your team's like, what the fuck is that about? And the ref's like, God damn it. And then they just instantly, the next play, they throw a flag on the other team that's just complete bullshit, just like they're trying to balance it out. So I think the NFL realized they fucked up giving Lamar 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they were trying to make up for it and give Josh the one he deserved a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But since they fucked it up, then they hosed Saquon as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Josh been hosed this whole time. I said this a couple years ago. This is a crock of shit. Josh Allen was MVP. I said it. I've been on your side about this the whole time. And now this is kind of bullshit because Saquon deserved this one. But we got to play this fucking game because the NFL drops the ball on this sort of thing.
They favor the quarterbacks lately.
Why is it though? Like, I mean, why can't we have a lineman? Do you think Joe Thuney should have deserved at least an honorable mention? Why can't we have a lineman, offensive lineman, get a fucking MVP? Those guys.
He had to move from left guard, right guard or left guard? Right guard.
Yeah, he went from right to left.
And then he went to left tackle.
And then he went to tackle.
Yes.
So, like, for real,
Mhm.
Every place he went, he totally kicked ass at.
He
too.
did.
He kicked ass. He kicked names and took ass. You know what I mean?
That would be nice, right? That would please John Madden to have a
Yeah,
lineman
totally, dude.
as an MVP of the league. He would come up from the grave and be like, "That's
Woo.
that's
Woo woo.
and then he would just fall back
See what
down."
I'm saying? Like, I mean, to me, in my heart of hearts,
Mhm.
and when I watch offense, I watch my linemen, bro. It's fun watching these other guys do the fancy shit and get all the touchdowns and shit.
Yeah.
But I watch what my linemen have to go through. And they have to go through some beasts
Mhm.
to make it possible for these other guys to get their fucking big bags. And nobody pays a lineman enough. Not one of you fucking teams out there. I'm talking to every owner, every manager, every coach. Not one of you guys treats your fucking linemen right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 'cause
These
look what
guys
Saquon did this
are the team.
Saquon Barkley, if he didn't sit the last game of the season, he would have broke the NFL rushing record.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, but seriously though,
Mhm.
to me, a guy like Joe Tooney deserves at least a look. Put his name in the bucket. If we're gonna be drawing names out of all the quarterbacks or something, do you think there's one fucking quarterback in the entire league that doesn't want Joe Tooney protecting him?
Right. Now
Are
he's
you kidding me, dude? I bet you
he's a bear.
everyone says, please get him. Please get him.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's the real MVP here? I mean, he did all of the spots, kicked ass at all the spots, right?
Yeah, and now he's a Chicago Bear.
And now he's going to still kick ass.
Yeah.
That's going to make it really hard for people to get to a Bears quarterback, at least on his side, because he's going to take two of your guys off the board. He's that guy.
Yeah.
He did that shit at the Patriots too. The Patriots couldn't afford to pay him. The Chiefs were like, "Oh, we saw you. Come with us, right?"
So DF comes in saying, "Riddle be this: how could they give a guy MVP again after him pulling choke artist moves year after year? How?"
Are you talking about Lamar?
Yeah.
Is he talking about Lamar?
He's talking about Lamar.
That's what it sounds like to me, because Lamar is a choke artist.
Yeah.
And he makes bad decisions,
especially in the playoffs. He gave up that fumble.
So his second year in the league, Lamar got an MVP, his first MVP, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one he ran his fucking legs off for, and I will admit that. Yes,
he did.
Yes, Lamar is the kind of guy that needs a supporting cast that's just fucking phenomenal, but he still cracked it open and he ran his legs off, and he earned that one. Okay. That next one, he didn't fucking earn it. That was not his. That was Josh's. But nobody could see Josh. It was like he was the fucking invisible man, and it drove me crazy. And I'm a Chiefs fan, right? But I sat by my best friend right here and went, what in the fuck are they doing? Josh did better. But nobody could see it but me and Anthony. Maybe you guys did because you're Bills fans and stuff. But
in the division, obviously the Jets fans and Dolphins fans.
Well, yeah, but apparently, if it got all the way to the West and Jamie saw it, that kid was doing good. You know what I mean?
He was great, phenomenal.
You guys became. If it wasn't for Josh Allen, you guys wouldn't be the only fucking rival to the Chiefs in the AFC. The only rival. That's the real rivalry. And what I like is we can still keep it a friendly rivalry because we're both fucking badass enough that everybody else hates us.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both badass enough that we could sit at a bar and have a drink together, and then everybody else would be like, God damn, I fucking hate those guys. It's like perfect for me because my bestie is the other badass, right? That's fucking tight, man. Now you guys got a beefed up defense, and now you guys are going to draft well, and Josh is going to be Superman again, and we're going to go to the fucking AFC Championship again because nobody else in the AFC can really hang with us yet. And I say yet because I know that there's an expiration date on all this shit, you know? There's an expiration date on all of our big winning seasons, you know? Somebody else is going to come up and they're going to take that rock and throw it a little bit farther than us.
Well, yeah, I know Baltimore failed in the playoffs, but you know, they played great football last season. They did.
They played great football every season, dude.
You know, the record was they have an opportunity. They had the number one seed a couple times, but they fell short in playoffs like they always do, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. You know, Tennessee Titans. They were one.
DF.
It's funny you say that. I don't hate KC. I hated New England, right?
So here's the crazy thing, brother. As a Chiefs fan, no matter how many times New England beat our ass, I didn't really hate them. And I even felt bad when Justin Houston broke Tom Brady's leg and sent him home for a year. You know? Like, I felt bad about that. And it wasn't because I liked the Patriots. It was because I respected that just boss dynasty they put together. And, you know, and yeah, we all like to talk about the cheats and the sneaks because they had a few cheats and sneaks. You know, that was hateable. You know, that was frustrating and angered us. You know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Kansas City kept just trudging through the muck. And what I liked is they never cheated. You know, what I saw is bad refs that looked like they played fucking fantasy football.
Right.
Right.
That's what we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
You know, when you go into a football game, you not only do you have to play your opponent, you have to play the referees as well.
Absolutely.
Because they're gonna give you calls that are questionable, and they're going to give the other team calls that are questionable.
Right.
And that's just how it is.
And so you just learn how to beat the refs too. And it looked to me like Josh almost had that figured out last year. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to just learn to beat the refs too. The thing is, you got to have the ball very last. And you also have to have a little bit of a cushion so that when you get the ball last, it's okay to even just kneel on it, you know? And then your guys just cannot commit penalties in the fourth quarter. That's where everybody's killing themselves, you know? And I see it and I see it and I see it. And people go, these are bad calls. And I'm like, really, which one wasn't a penalty? Because the problem is it happens in the fourth.
Yeah. You got to be more disciplined.
Second and third quarters, they'll just be frivolous. Yeah, they'll play favorites and shit, and they'll try to get you because they always do because they play fucking fantasy football. But you got to dial it in. Okay, look, we screwed up these first couple of quarters. We got some of these penalties. We cannot do it.
Yeah, no more.
Yeah. And buckle down, and then hopefully
playing the same play over and over again to expect different result. It's insanity.
Okay, so yeah, you can be creative in the fourth, just don't cause a penalty while you're doing it.
Yes.
You know? But yes, definitely be creative in the fourth for sure.
Yeah. You know,
that's what I don't like about prevent defense because I've never in my life seen it prevent anything ever. That's why no matter. Even if it fails, I'm so goddamn happy when Spags blitzes on those fourth downs that are like, whoa, we're playing prevent. Well, they're going to get 20 fucking yards if we play prevent, you know?
Yeah.
We don't want them to march that fast. Fuck it, blitz them, right? We all say it from the couch. I've only seen Spags do it. I haven't seen anybody else as a defensive coordinator just say, fuck it, let's just blitz them like 4 times in a row, see what happens. And it works. It's been working, you know. And I mean, think about this. You guys got some boys on your defense now. You got some guys back, and you got some new guys in there. Fuck yeah, blitz them.
Needed to do,
you know, third and long. Fuck yeah, blitz them.
I like to see Bobby Badge, put some defense. I like to see us get that to the damn quarterback and put him down. You know, just tackle him.
Well, how many times on a 3rd and long have you seen a team back up to cover and then it just doesn't work?
It don't. It never does.
But
Especially with
3rd and
2 minutes to
long,
go
you'll
in the
see
first half.
Spags throws everybody at him. Let's smash and get everybody go. You know.
Yeah, DF comes in here saying Kelsey is playing next season. Yes, as good as he was, I think he hurts you guys moving forward. I think Kansas City should be looking for tight ends late in the first round. For me, Kelsey's playing another season. There's a reverse thinking. And before you comment, I'm gonna say something.
Go for it.
As a Bills fan looking in, watching the Chiefs, Noah Gray. It's his 4th season coming in, and I think he's going to be the next tight end. And they have another tight end besides Noah Gray. Who is that other guy that you have as well that does pretty good? That other tight end? I can't remember his name now. He's a stud too. I can't remember.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, man.
You just made me brain fart, dude.
Oh, because I
Oh, God damn it. Oh, why did you do that to me? So I was looking at, actually, I know who you're talking about, and he does an okay job, but
you got Wiley.
Bell, was it Blake Bell?
You got Jordy Fordston and Jared Wiley.
Wiley, but he didn't get much playing time.
Yeah, but I like Wiley. I think Wiley's a hell of a guy.
But we used to have Blake Bell out there with Noah and with Trav, right? Mm-hmm. And then we've gone through some tight ends in the last 4 years, bro. But I will say this: Travis is gonna be no hindrance because I think Noah's gonna be out there more than Travis this year. But we're going to see Travis because he is a superstar. And every time he's out there, he's drawing 2 of your defenders.
Yes, he is.
If you fucking don't, that's foolish because once you don't, that's why he still gets 800 yards and people say, oh, fuck, he's slowing down. Well, he got double your best tight end's fucking yardage. You know what I mean? Double on his worst year. Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
The guy's had 7 over 1,000 yard seasons. And if you think that that's something to just scoff at and say it's going to take a team downhill, that is insane to me. The guy is probably at least this season, and then I think he's probably going to retire. But I bet you he cracks 600 yards this season as a trade-off tight end.
He's gonna crack at least 700.
I'm saying if you give him and Noah, trade him off every fucking 2 plays, switch guys up, or every 3 plays, switch guys up for the next 3 plays.
I think this year
4th, 1st, and 2nd downs, or it'd be 3rd, 4th, and 1st down. I'd say just switch them up, and so they get the equal amount of play time. And Noah's going to crack 1,000 yards, and then Travis will still get 600-700 yards. What did Dalton or what did Knox get as your second tight end?
Not much.
What, 380 or
something like that? Yeah.
And then Kincaid got 450, 448 or something.
Yeah, he got 311 last year.
311. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you guys were at a total of what, like 800 yards total between your tight ends,
and then 448 for Kincaid.
Okay, so just under 800 yards for combined tight ends.
Yeah.
And Travis alone had over 800.
Yeah.
And then Noah kicked some ass and still got 600, right?
No, I think he had like 300.
400, 300.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 300. But still, a shit ton of touchdowns for Noah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so I think we're going to be just fine.
Okay, so he had 400.
Travis stay just until he wants to retire. I think he's earned it. He stayed a Chief his entire career. If people start saying he's going to be a deficit and then he doesn't feel like this is home still, he'll go somewhere else and he'll get 1,000 fucking yards. Not on my watch. That's my Travis Kelce. And I'm keeping him just until he's an old man, he can have a spot on my team.
Yeah.
And so for real, I don't see that ever even – that has never even crossed my mind that it would be like reverse thinking. I mean, are you kidding me? I think possibly spite is getting into your head there on that idea, just because you don't want him around anymore. Maybe it's the Taylor Swift thing. I don't know.
As long as the Kansas City Chief has Andy Reid as their head coach and Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator, Kansas City is going to be a top 2 AFC team.
Yeah.
It's going to be Buffalo and Kansas City.
I like to say top 5
or top 5, whatever.
Every year, just one of the top 5.
Because they'll go from 1 to 3, 1.
Yeah.
1 to 2.
So I don't want to put them up to the tops every time, but I would like to. I would like to consider the Chiefs' abilities
in the AFC
to be a top 5 team.
They're going to be that way.
And I'm talking league wide, bro, not just AFC, because the Bills to me are a top 5 league, NFC and AFC every fucking year, right? Every year. It's us, bro. We are both, in my opinion, top 5 teams so far. Until it's proven that other guys are going to do this. And I think the Commanders have a shot to do it if they keep going. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, the Vikings have been up there for a couple of years now. They've been really trudging. The Lions, a couple of years now, they've been really trudging, you know. I mean, they're in the AFC, the Ravens are usually up there. We haven't seen the 49ers climb like they used to, but I think their window is closing because they spent all that money. Mm-hmm. But yeah, for the next couple of years, I don't see it being any different until my coaches go home, you know.
DF chimes in on that. I don't know. There's been a couple times where Noah was the target in the red zone.
So, and Travis wasn't even out there. I've seen Noah get a lot of his yards basically taking over for Travis's spot, bro.
He did
our
really
other guys
well this year.
Huh?
In some of those games, he did really, really, because he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I mean, yeah. He's a little workhorse, and he's trying to make it known that he's here. Don't have to worry about this spot when Big Daddy retires. He ain't trying to take Big Daddy's spot. He's playing ball, waiting for his turn. You know, I mean, you can't always just get lucky and drop in like Trav did. You know, I mean, we picked up Travis right after like Tony Gonzalez, and Trav just was the guy. We didn't have anybody better, you know. I mean, we had good guys, but not better. Mm-hmm. And then look what he was able to do once he got in there and he started getting his quarterback to trust him more, like Noah has done with Travis or with Patrick. Because when Patrick sees Noah on the field, just targets him, just knows that kid's going to catch it, probably get a touchdown, at least get him 15, 16 yards, you know. So Patrick,
okay. We can agree to disagree, DF, and I like that Noah. You do like Noah, but you do think that I don't put him on that big perch like you two do.
I mean, and I'm not either. I'm saying he's doing a great job.
Yes.
Being tight end number 2.
He's a great talent, though. I really like him. I really, really do.
I think him and Kincaid are both great talents. Mm-hmm. And if they both had an opportunity, they could both get up there with the Kittles and the Gronks and the Kelseys and the Gonzaleses, you know. Like I say, even your tight end, your number 1 tight end, Kincaid, and my number 2 tight end, Noah Gray, are basically not used up to their potentials because we have Travis, you know, and because you guys don't play a heavy tight end game, you know. And so in different situations, man, these guys could be up there with those Hall of Famers, in my opinion. And to me, to me, I'll never say anything bad about Kincaid because he only had 440 something yards. You know, I won't say he's not the guy. I'll say in a different situation, boy, he could be the guy. You know, but you guys play a quarterback, a mobile quarterback, run it and chuck it deep game.
Kind of like a read option type of thing, to where it's like we're gonna scramble them out if the lane's there and everybody's covered, just run it. If not, and people are open, chuck it down there, and that's basically what it comes down to. It, you know, and I would love to see Buffalo be more. Like I said, I think Joe Brady needs to be more creative. I'm the creativity and that offensive scheme needs to be better. You know, we've done well. He's done well. He's better than Ken Dorsey, obviously. Well, I mean, we are amazing. We've excelled. You know, I mean, I know James Cook did amazing.
He did a great job, dude.
You know, had over 1,000 yards rushing. The first running back with 1,000-yard rushing in a long time for Buffalo.
Yeah. Who was the last one? Was it Shady?
I want to say Shady, but I couldn't.
Was it Shady McCoy?
I don't know. Rushing yards. You tell me, DTN. What was the last 1,000-yard rusher?
I think that's DF, not DTN.
Sorry, DF. Sorry, the D's.
I thought it was like Shady, man. I don't know. It could wait. You had another kid. I don't know if he had 1,000-yard season, but goddamn, he looked like he was kicking some butt. What the hell was his name? Oh man!
Look at this. Yeah, it was LaShawn McCoy in 2017.
It was Shady. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It was the last 1,000-yard rushing. He had over 1,000 yards in 2017 before Cook. So I was right on that. So
DF wants to jump on, Anthony.
Yeah, I think we could get him on here. He's got
about 20 minutes left, so let's do this.
Why Kincaid did not do well last year like we wanted. Yeah, I agree. He did not do well. And
all right, here we go. I just posted it into the chat, and I would love to have you come on and give your opinion. We got about 20 minutes. We're gonna shut down like in about 23 minutes and call it the stream. So
all right, DF,
there he is. There's the man.
What's up, guys? How you doing
tonight? My brother. How you doing, Dwayne?
Good to see you.
And they're good to see you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell Anthony, I think you're missing the button a little bit here on Kincaid and why he didn't produce, I think, as much as what he could have last year. We picked up this dude named Keon Coleman, right?
Well, yeah.
And as good as he is with the 50-50 ball, and he's damn good at it.
Agree.
Coleman really did good, I think, for his rookie year and how much we played him. But then we went out and we got this Cooper guy because we figured we're not stretching the field very well.
Yeah.
He got injured. He wasn't playing healthy all year. And his legs just weren't as quick as what they were.
Mm-hmm.
We had a situation last year where we could not stretch the field. And when you cannot stretch the field very well, you're making it harder for tight ends to get more open.
I agree.
You got Shakir that's dominating a little bit in the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Ken Coleman that's not getting downfield fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
Our other guy, excuse me 1 second. Who was our other Samuel? He
Curtis
really didn't pan out to be the speed guy he needed, and then he had until the end of the season had on and off issues.
Matt Collins was a beast for us.
Right, but again, Matt Collins Mac Hollins just is not going to stretch the field for
No,
you.
he's not. No, he's not.
So the Bills had no field stretchers last year.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, I see that.
And
that is still a problem the Bills have a little bit going into this year.
Well, with Joshua Palmer coming from the San Diego, the Chargers.
Yep.
Excuse me. I wanted to say San Diego, and I kept on. But
how fast do you think Josh Palmer is?
I don't know. I wonder. Let's. I'm going to Google his 40-yard dash.
Anthony, do you think Anthony?
Coleman 2.0.
Anthony, do you believe that because it was a problem stretching the field, that's why Josh had to run the damn ball so much?
I believe so as well.
I mean, Cook did a good job where he could, and a lot of his plays were legit played designed to be a blocker. You know, like he was blocking as a running back. You know, options and stuff like that. But sometimes he was just covered up. And Kincaid and Knox did a really good job trying to pick up that little extra. You know, right here, you got a couple of choices here. Maybe you can hit the quick out or the quick in or the quick out, you know, and hit that tight end. And they did a good job picking it up. But Josh had to put on his fucking cape all year, and DF is 100% right. You had nobody back in that defense.
I don't want to cut off your answer on this, but we both watched Kansas City and Travis Kelce. And Travis Kelce, what he did really well was, and what Kincaid's been doing great too, is getting open. But because the field was so doggone big for him, he was able to get all those extra yards down the middle, where Kincaid's just not finding that kind of room in the middle of the field.
Instantly, you're right. Kincaid gets popped like as soon as he catches that ball, but he usually catches that goddamn ball, right?
He does.
There was only a couple of times he got whopped so hard that he dropped the ball, you know. I mean, and yeah, he was contested most of the time, and so. Noah Gray as well. He was contested. You know, these guys are like, oh, we might not have Kels, but we got your ass. And no, you don't, because Kincaid and Gray are both the same caliber in my eyes. Potential is out of fucking sight for these guys. Yeah. But you got to stretch it out and give them the shot, you know, and that's hard to do when, like you said, you don't have the guys to stretch it out.
That's why you guys got Worthy.
For sure.
Not necessarily to force feed them the ball, but just to extend that field.
That deep threat, dude. And if Josh we were talking about this earlier, Anthony and I, and if Josh Allen would have had Worthy, that would have been stretched out. You know, and I know how Josh likes to chuck that deep ball. I mean, he's got the arm for it. And I think Worthy would have had probably triple the touchdowns had he been a Bill. That would have been a sick feeling for me. Just watching you guys all the time.
King, if we trade with you guys in the draft again, I'm going to fly to your house and kick your ass. Just putting that out there now, buddy.
Okay. I live at Anthony's house.
Sorry, Anthony, I'll be knocking down your door, buddy.
And that playoff game where they played the Denver Broncos, where Buffalo, that's my opinion on that. I think the Denver game is the game. Well, we actually did stretch the game out a little bit. We did stretch the field out. We had some good schemes to where we had a 3 wide receiver scheme on the one side to where a lot of people went downfield, and we had the one. I don't know who the receiver was. I think it was Samuels. I think it was Samuels when they targeted, and it was right on the money. He hit him in stride, and that was the game to where Samuels actually produced some yardage and all that stuff. And it was really great. And then after that, I didn't see Buffalo really do too much. Maybe in the first half of the Baltimore game where we did great, and then the second half we just let them come back and almost beat us. So and then that damn
Anthony, I have a question for you, sir.
Go ahead.
before Watkins had all those injuries, wouldn't you agree Sammy Watkins was an amazing first and second year product for the Buffalo Bills?
I think Sammy Watkins was amazing. His first, he got hurt.
We didn't like the trade to get him in the draft, but he was really solid for the team.
And then we had Marshawn Lynch too.
Sammy was the kind of guy who was there right when you needed him. It's like he could screw up when you didn't really need him, and he didn't really even screw up. It's just he wasn't really available as a target a couple of times when,
And look who was throwing at him too.
Right. But then as soon as you needed him, though, like in that crucial play, he just always produced, man.
Yeah.
That's why he got a ring. When we picked him up, that's why he got a ring. Those we really need it right now moments, and he just did great in those. Like all of a sudden he'd be down there for a 60 fucking yard touchdown for no reason at all, and you're like, whoa, Sammy, all right. I liked Sammy Watkins, man.
Did you feel the same, Anthony, as far as how good Sammy was to start? Because I have a point to this, and
I think he was a great wide receiver. He got hurt. He got hurt, and it just ruined him a little bit, and then obviously
those ACLs.
The
those
quarterback
ACLs and the ankle injuries, they just add up.
Yeah, and then the quarterback
6-month injury
now. The quarterback carousel we had was unbelievable too. So.
You guys had some great quarterbacks.
Benjamin on the field.
But go ahead to your point about Sammy Watkins.
You know who I see is a little bit better version of Sammy Watkins coming out of the draft?
Who's that?
Golden.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good comparison. Similar style, I wouldn't say 100% or anything, because Sammy was a little bit different style, a different step. Maybe it's just the footwork or something, but Golden is goddamn good, dude.
So
you guys gonna get him?
My take is that we pick a team like the Raiders, and we move up. And the Raiders are itching for a halfback, but this isn't really a good halfback draft. And I got a weird gut feeling that we're going to use up one of our seconds and move up in round one and get Golden.
Huh. Do you think we'll get an offense? I would, that's not a bad idea. I just think the defense. I think we need a defensive tackle.
I want Grant.
I think the Raiders are going to
be a big Grant guy right now.
Yeah,
Grant's good, dude.
I would not be upset at the Bills getting Golden, because I can tell you right now, our offense with a guy like Golden, as a number 2 wide receiver starting out of the gate.
Yep.
Or at least competing.
Stretch it right out. That would make up for the Worthy trade too. So the Bills fans would be like, okay, finally. Nice.
Now, it's gonna tick people off because they're not. A lot of fans weren't happy about us doing that with Watkins, and it's going to upset part of our fan base too, because a lot of people still like Cook. But I have to remind our fans that Davis played for one game and he ran for 150 yards against a good defense.
We have some good running backs.
Yeah, Davis is good.
And we still have Ty Johnson, who's one of the best third down running backs in the freaking league.
And then we have a prodigy of Frank Gore Jr. that's on the practice.
That's right.
Exactly, dude.
So I'm just throwing that out there just to throw that out there more as a hot take, but I think it's more of a possibility than what people are giving something like that credit for.
But do you have to carry on what you were saying? I wouldn't get upset if James Cook left Buffalo. I really wouldn't. I like him. I think he's great. If he left, so be it. That's just my thought. I mean, I've seen Buffalo get rid of a lot of good players, and then we've gotten back some more good players. You know what I'm saying? So like Tyrod Taylor, I felt like when we were able to get, I guess he's good enough to get to the playoffs. We picked up Josh Allen. Was I upset when we picked up Josh Allen? Not really. I was more upset we moved on from Tyrod Taylor, at least not give him another year to prove himself. But then we had Nathan Peterman and to where he was screwing everything up, and then we had to get Josh Allen in the game, and then we basically kind of forced Josh Allen to be that quarterback his rookie year in a sense, halfway through the season. Yeah. And I was like, well, if we would have kept Tyrod Taylor,
fucking love Tyrod, dude.
Maybe we could have developed Josh Allen, but he developed as the year went on, anyways, and became who he is now.
Right.
So
Tyrod's going to turn the next Palmer teaching quarterback.
Yeah. But
I really liked Tyrod Taylor, dude.
I felt like we kind of gave him the shaft a little bit, but we did. But at the same time, we have our quarterback.
I liked him a lot. I really liked him a lot. I thought he had potential to even compare with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, because Rodgers only got one ring, and I think Tyrod, with the right coaches, could have taken a team. He could have been a Warren Moon. I mean, just like all of a sudden out of nowhere, this guy just fucking tough and good at his craft, and then everybody just falls in love with him, right? Tyrod was that nice of a guy.
There won't be another Warren Moon. Maybe not.
There will never be, dude.
The Bills would you have?
Say again?
How much? What would King? What would scare you more? The Bills getting Grant or the Bills getting Golden?
So honestly, I'd say I say Grant, because that guy's a fucking animal. Okay? And Golden, we can cover receivers, dude. I mean, I've got a really good defense. It's just the offense has been struggling over the last year. The whole last year, it was just a struggle on the offense. And I know that we went 15-2, and I know that like people go, oh, they're done or whatever. But no, it was a struggle on offense. And I think some of those holes are fixed unless, and they're fixed temporarily. This is the thing. They're temporarily fixed. So we have to draft right, which is going to be easy because we can just take about whoever we want and it's going to be right, because we've got good backups already. And on the practice squad, too, we've got really good guys that are ready to.
The 13-second game didn't scare you?
The what?
The 13-second game didn't scare you?
Actually, me and Anthony watched that together.
Yeah,
no, we were both kind of in awe the whole time. Dude, like, there's not a fear thing with us.
You gotta get this dude to answer this.
I swear to God,
come on.
I swear to God, bro.
I do think that's a type of offense the Bills could put back on the field.
Right.
With Golden, that 13-game dog.
Yeah, but we didn't have a number one defense for that game.
Having another Gabe Davis. When we let Gabe Davis go to Jacksonville, I felt like I was not happy about that myself. Honestly.
13-second game though, Anthony. We didn't have a number one defense.
No,
or we didn't have a number 5 defense. We didn't have a top 5 defense. We had maybe a top
defensive line was struggling, but you still had a good secondary.
Okay, but not as good as it is now, or as it was last year. Like last year. I mean, bring on any receivers you want, because I know my defense was going to do good. Apparently, until the Super Bowl. But with a guy like Grant, that screams in my heart, in 2 years, just fucking maybe next year.
And I think we get Grant. I really do think Grant's going to fall right to us. I just have a gut feeling.
That guy's
not a lot of teams are looking for that type of defensive tackle.
But and we also have to consider, how does he transition to the NFL from college? Because you got to play a different kind of ball in the NFL, and metaphorically speaking. Yes.
You talking about Golden or Grant?
Both, because Golden is really good, but in the NFL, there's going to be dudes that can cover him like stink on a turd.
Yeah.
And then we got to see if he's going to get frustrated or if he's going to work his way through this. Grant can go in there, probably bruise up a couple of guys, maybe make a little bit of a name for himself, and then next year, look the fuck out. Then the year after that, oh my God, he's
We
worth
need a
the
run
bag.
stopper, DF. We
You see
really
what I'm
do need a
saying?
run stopper.
Or
I agree.
he can
I'm
go out
for
there and
Grant.
just get
I'm
fucking
just
humbled.
saying the
Like,
Coleman
those guys
issue,
are
the Golden issue, to make Josh Allen extremely happy would not. It's a beanie move. It wouldn't shock me. Is all I'm saying.
Well, what's Keon Coleman doing this offseason? Is he going to actually improve and to be better this year? That's the question I like to know. Is Keon Coleman going to be the guy that we actually drafted?
Isn't he with Allen right
we're
now?
Still going in this, we're still going into this year with the same problem. Where is our field stretcher?
What about Josh? What about Joshua Palmer? Is not the field stretcher?
No, he's running a 4.54
Yeah,
when
true.
he was drafted, and I'm telling you, he's slower than that now. So no, he's not a field stretcher. He's a very creative
route runner.
He's a very creative route runner. Not as good as what Diggs was, but good. And he's creative with his comeback routes, which will help Josh. But it's not stretching the field.
All right. I see your point on that. I do. So I just I would like to see Keon Coleman improve. Be fast.
So isn't Coleman with Josh Allen right now?
He should be. I'm hoping.
Summer practicing like my quarterback does, because my quarterback's in Texas with the boys.
I haven't paid attention to a lot of things lately. I've been dealing with some other stuff.
So
Josh Allen does work with his wide receivers a lot on the offseason.
Okay.
He does.
Okay. Mahomes takes the guys to Texas, and then they all go to jail. And then when they get out of jail, they come back and kick ass till they get hurt. You're killing me. I'm killing me. Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, I mean, heck, man. I mean, that wide receiver looks good. I mean, maybe we can get Matthew Golden.
He's got some talent, dude. He really does. He looked pretty good.
He plays the same type of offense that the Bills
put on
run.
A little bit of weight.
Exact same offense.
He's like Worthy, kind of skinny, and so when they get a little bit of weight to him, it might slow him down a little bit.
He's a taller Worthy though.
Yeah, totally. He's a long kid. He's kind of like
arms, solid hand.
Like Dwayne Bowe. We had Dwayne Bowe. He was a long receiver like that, tall kid. The Raiders have always had the great.
One tall guy from Cincinnati that's got speed. Help me out.
Is it Higgins or Jamar Chase?
Chase,
dude.
You're right. It reminds me of Chase.
Hey, that's a better fit. That's a better fit.
Chase and Gilmore.
That's a way better choice.
Watkins, I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Golden is kind of as much like a Watkins though. I see it different. He's like a taller. So I mean, Sammy looked like he was. I guess Sammy was pretty tall, wasn't he? He just had this weird way to make his arms like reach out twice as far as they looked like they were long.
Yeah, he won like 14. Sammy Watkins did for the Buffalo Bills.
Sammy was fun, dude. I really enjoyed it when he came to the Chiefs and got a ring for us.
Yeah, his first couple of years in Buffalo was amazing, and then just started getting hurt.
Well, and that's one thing I've seen the Chiefs do is they forgive an ACL because that's a 6-month injury with our doctors, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not my doctor. My doctor would be like, "You're fucked, Jamie," but the Chiefs doctors, they can take a guy and fix it, And it's like 6 months and they're back to practicing and lifting weights again and stuff. I think that's like league wide these days too. I mean, unless you fake it like Aaron Rodgers, then you're out there on crutches the next day and shit. But.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that. DF, what do you think about Rodgers being unemployed?
I think he's going to retire.
This is my thought here, DF. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be I think he might come back if an injury, if a quarterback of a high caliber team gets hurt, and he'll go in there and try to save. He'll try to play savior this year.
I would love.
I could see that trying to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen.
So my scenario is this.
Good luck if he has to play against our defense.
My dream scenario, DF, my dream scenario is that Aaron Rodgers goes to Miami.
I don't wish injury on anyone.
Just hang on. And then and I don't ever hope that Tua gets hurt, but I hope Zach Wilson takes Tua's fucking job, and then Aaron Rodgers has to play third string behind Tua.
Let's talk about Miami. What kind of free fall is that team going through right now?
It is a
Their
dumpster
team went
fire.
from loving their head coach
I don't
to
think
their head coach.
I don't think they're going to get no more than 6 wins this season.
They don't have any picks. They don't have any picks, do they? Do they have like a
Jalen Ramsey is now a free agent?
I don't think they have very many picks. It feels like they're going to have to make trades and try to fill some holes, and they're going to be out of picks before you know it. Just out. Maybe they get 3 guys in the draft. Jeepers creepers. They have to hope for non-drafted free agents and stuff, you know. I mean, they're going to be in shambles, man. That dumpster fire is going to take like 4 fire extinguishers to put it out.
They have picks. A first, a second, a comp third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and 3 sevenths.
Yeah, they have quite a bit.
Oh, they're going to have to use every one of them because they can't afford to pay all these guys that want to stay there and get paid.
They have too many holes. They lost their left tackle, who was damn near all pro last year. They lost their cornerback. They lost their defensive tackle. Free safety, I want to say they lost way too many players this year.
And they lost James.
Greer turned that team into a dumpster fire.
Yeah, I mean, well, hell, who's coaching them? That idiot. Well, he's actually in the NFL, so he's not really an idiot.
Honestly, dude, I don't like the coach in Miami. I think Miami's had a coaching problem for a very long time. I think their GM has made terrible decisions, terrible trades just to try to put the butts in seats. And I say do it the right way, and butts will just find their way to the seats, man. And Miami's got a coaching problem. They got a GM problem. They've got too many overpaid guys. They're losing everybody, and they don't even care because they couldn't afford it anyway. You know what I mean?
It's too late for them to do anything about head coach now.
Yeah, for sure, right?
The Colts are going to be better team than the Miami Dolphins.
Look, analytics should be used. You should always have a guy right here that knows a lot about analytics to whisper in your ear, but you need a real head coach. Like Mike Vrabel says he's okay with using analytics to help out. Well, fuck yeah. That's why we have the cool, smart nerds, you know?
Both Kansas City and Buffalo both have an analytic coaching team. Both of our teams do.
Well, sure. But you've got a head coach making the real decisions, right? And you got to, because analytics is basically what we've learned from film, right? And it doesn't take into account the human factor, which is, oh my God, Knox is kicking ass. Why don't we just feed him for a little bit? That only works so far, but if the analytics start following you, feeding him because he's doing so well, they're going to say keep doing it beyond the time that is supposed to be, switched over as a smart human trick.
Right.
You know? I mean, so that's why I don't trust analytics. The Chargers tried it. Fuck, look where it got them. It got them right back to a Harbaugh. And now the Harbaugh is probably going to take him to playoffs a bunch because he doesn't do the analytics bullshit. He says, that's what I need over here whispering. This helps a lot of times in this situation. but it doesn't take into effect any part of the human factor. It's just computer bullshit. And that might work sometimes. But in the long run, man, this is the NFL. This is different. This is...
And Tua can't play in the cold. He's proven it.
Pardon?
Tua can't play in the cold. He's proven it.
Okay, so yeah. You take a kid who was born and raised in the islands, a sea level, and then you put him at sea level. He's going to struggle when he goes mile high. You know, he's going to struggle when he goes to, especially since he's from a warm climate, pretty much everything he ever did, you know, high school, college, warm climate, right? You put him in New England in the fucking December. Yeah, that's cold, you know, or Minnesota. That's cold. And the same reason I thought with Russell Wilson, because he'd been in Seattle his whole career. I'm just like, you took a guy from sea level, you put him in at mile high. I can't breathe when I go to Denver, and we're like 1,000 feet below them. We're in the mountains too, right? And I go to Denver, and I'm like, yeah. And it's the pollution. It's going to take Russell's lungs a little bit to get the hold of this. And he's old. What are you doing? You know, been better off taking Tua, putting him in Denver. You know, he'd have got killed in Denver. Ooh. I feel scared for Tua Tagovailoa.
You shouldn't be on the field.
Yeah, exactly, dude. When I saw him get knocked out that bad, you know, and it was bad.
Yeah,
that was against Buffalo.
No, Cincinnati. That Cincinnati game was really bad.
The Cincinnati game was worse than Buffalo.
That was on Amazon.
Both times
but you guys did it the week before,
his
literally.
Upper body
right?
was convulsing a little bit, and his fingers were just blocked like this.
A couple weeks before, you guys knocked him right the fuck out too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he should have never played the following game.
And then as soon as he comes back, he gets knocked the fuck out again. Well, the problem with concussions is they get easier to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, look at Steve Young, man.
Yeah, they get easier to get.
And you know what the problem with concussions is? It's too easy for a player to hide the symptoms from their coaches.
I mean, man, I've been hitting the head so many times. I am almost on.
That explains a lot of things.
And yeah, it does. See? You see what I'm saying? It really explains a lot of things. But I can fake it, and I can act like I'm kind of smart. You know, I can remember some stuff. The problem is I only have 3 brain cells left, and they wrestle nonstop, bro. It's like
they're wrestling with that can of beer you're about to sip on right now.
I'm actually rolling up a cigarette with some tobacco from Rotterdam, Holland. Rotterdam, Holland. I really enjoyed the Dutch, bro. They're cool people. Very cool people, by the way. If you guys ever get the chance, go check out Amsterdam. It's fun as shit. You don't have to do all the crazy stuff. It's actually family friendly because all the crazy stuff is hidden behind doors, right? And so you can go have, you know, a great meal and do some fun shopping. And they got the biggest candy store I've ever seen in my life, bro. I was high as 10 Jamies, skipping around Amsterdam with a giant bag of candy.
You know what that reminds me of is a TV series that was out for a couple years in a row called The Amish Mafia.
Oh, I remember seeing
that show was freaking hysterical, man.
So much fun.
Some of the stuff those guys got away with, holy crap.
Man, I saw a video of an Amish kid the other day, and this cat's like, "What do you got going on here?" And he shows him. He lifts up this little curtain on his buggy, dude. He's got a horse, right? And he's got his little Amish cute girl in her Amish dress in the passenger seat. And he goes around the back and he lifts up the back and he's got marine batteries lined up that he has apparently charged with solar or something. And he's got all these amplifiers. And then he goes and he shows behind his lady. He lifts up the curtain. And it's all these big woofers. Like this kid was rocking down the road with a horse and buggy. Amish people are so awesome. I know they'll never see this, but they're pretty awesome. I thought it was cute, man.
Did you guys watch the round table last night at all?
I did.
Did you watch my comments towards the end?
Yeah, you better let.
I like Colby a lot.
I really do, bro.
But him thinking that May has a ceiling of a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Why not? He hasn't proven any different. He did really well with a shit team last year. He started showing flashes of I could really be something. So why not?
But
we don't know his ceiling. It's only going to be his second year.
And then there's pedestal, right?
Okay.
Realistic pedestal.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do this. Realistic is any given Sunday, right? Like the worst team can beat the best team any given Sunday. So realistically speaking, the way this universe works, at any moment you could just shoot up like a star, and then maybe you go poof and explode and fade off into nothing, right? It's only his second year. And he didn't even get to start last year until later on, right?
If my mother's sitting right here, if she heard you say any given team, any given game, she'd probably tell you she's said that a million times.
Yeah, we all have. I like Mom. Totally, yes. Yes, we all have said that so many times. And it's true, though, because I've seen my team get whooped by the worst team in the league so many times. The
Raiders?
Yeah, but out of nowhere. And they'll put 45 points on us.
Why do the Raiders seem to do so well against you guys year after year? I don't get it.
Yes, twice a year, every year. I mean, why did the Jets pull a W on you guys, right?
Why did Buffalo? Hey, we kicked crap out of Tom Brady a couple times.
Sure.
Buffalo lost majority of the games, but we beat Tom Brady only 3 times in his career.
True. Any given game.
And then sometimes maybe there is that shooting star, Mm-hmm. And so I'm not going to say there's no way Drake May can do it because he's only played a half of a season. So maybe next year with Vrabel's help and this team that they're building over there, which is pretty impressive, and the coaching they've put together, shoot, bro. Shoot, you little star, shoot.
Well, I'll tell you why I feel this way. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now? If you're going to name off 5 real quick.
Well, then we're going to say the same top 5 from last year, right? That's what we're going to do. But so what about the human factor? Because we're not taking into it. It's going to be a whole new season. So I'm going to say
is when you go back,
start with a clean slate. With the Eagles #1, Kansas City #2, and then it goes from there the way they stacked from last year. But what about that shooting star? It just might have the right recipe over there, bro. New England has done some really good stuff in this offseason.
They did, but I have a point to that. When I first saw Josh Allen come into this league and played the first half year, he was doing things that passed the eye test. Mahomes passed the eye test easy because he came into a season where a team was already built around him.
No,
but he passed the
for
eye
a
test
year.
right
He learned a team.
If you look at the other top,
you're wrong, dude. Nothing was built for Mahomes.
They
that was built for
test.
Smith.
I didn't see May pass the eye test for me. I didn't see it. So that's the only reason why I don't put could his ceiling be that high? Absolutely. But he hasn't shown me that he's passed the eye test yet for
Right.
me.
Right.
And you just know when you have that quarterback. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I want to go like this. Mahomes jumped into a team that was built for someone else. And he
It
came
doesn't
in.
matter. It was built.
Yeah, it was totally built. But it was built for Alex Smith, which is a system quarterback. And Mahomes came in and he said, I don't play systems. And he said it like Kermit the Frog. I don't play systems. And then he went out there his second year. Well, he went out there the last game of his first year and beat the shit out of another team. They sat him because they were sitting all the starters. So he did this with all the backups.
I remember that game. It was the Chargers. You guys.
And then when the third string quarterback started losing the game, it was Broncos.
Oh, was it?
And then the third string quarterback started losing the game. They put Mahomes in the last 2 minutes, and he made a comeback that was fucking beautiful. It was like watching all of the great comeback guys, like Tom Brady and like Aaron Rodgers used to be, that comeback guy. Who do you want to have the ball?
Same with Josh Allen too. His last couple of games, boy, he showed something. Now we didn't expect him to come back the following season with the kind of accuracy he had, but he was showing things that made you go, "Whoa, we got something here."
Yeah. Oh, there's something here, and we all wanted him to start. And then his first year goes to the AFC Championship, has to play Tom Brady, and Brady just. Look, old age and treachery will overcome youth and skill every time. Old age and treachery. And Tom Brady whooped his ass. And then we got the next one. He went right back to the same thing. Like, we're going to do this. And we rocked, man. We haven't had less than 12 wins since he's been there. And Alex Smith was an 11-win guy to just make the playoffs. Patrick was hey, we're going to get those extra couple wins. Maybe we get to bring the championship here, or maybe we get some home field advantage. That'll help, Allen came in to the league and was a raw talent. Okay. We all watched him at Wyoming, and he was a strong kid. He was really likable. He's a big kid and stuff. What if you built a team around him? Well, in that first year, they didn't really have the team built around him. So he kind of struggled, but he did pretty good, right?
He didn't have a wide receiver target to speak of.
But that second year, the team was beginning to be built. Okay. Yeah. And then all he's done every gosh dang year is get better and better because you guys are giving him what Patrick basically inherited and he had to take our team and switch it to his mindset. Mm-hmm. So he had to take the built team and switch the built team to his mindset when you guys took Josh's mindset and then went back. And now look at you. You're probably going to get the Super Bowl this coming year. You know what I'm saying?
By the way,
you know what I'm saying?
One thing, Josh
Drake May got thrown into the shittiest position. And then all of a sudden, all the coaches are gone. And they're just trading off all these guys to bring in other guys. And so now he has to learn with everyone after only playing a little bit of his first year. And so, no, I'm never going to say he can't be that shooting star. What if he just explodes, man? What if he shoots all the way to the moon, bro? So, yeah, he does have a ceiling. And he does have a ceiling, but I don't know where it is yet. And there's no way I'm going to cap it.
Now, that's the answer I want you to hear. You don't know where it is yet.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between saying you don't know where a guy's ceiling is at and then coming out and saying his ceiling is top 5 quarterback. That was my whole point.
Isn't top 5 quarterback. Literally, his ceiling is greatest quarterback of all time.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Mahomes' ceiling is greatest quarterback of all time. Brady's already greatest quarterback of all time. Okay. Mahomes' ceiling is catching Brady, maybe getting a foot up on him. Okay. Drake May hasn't even gone into year 2, and Mahomes had to start at year 2. So why in the heck would you say that's not possible, especially with the coaching changes that New England had? I mean, anything's possible, bro. You ever roll dice? You ever gamble? Like legit gamble, not like go to the cheating gambling casino places, but legit gamble. You ever do that? Because that's
my youth.
It's all a gamble. What if Vrabel's gamble hits and this kid just whoosh all the way up there, bro, way up there. So yeah, his ceiling is higher than top 5. Are you saying for this coming season?
This is where we gotta disagree.
Are you just saying for only this coming season?
I think that's just like saying any quarterback that comes out of the draft has a ceiling that can be
100%.
top 5. That's 100%. Not what ceiling really realistically.
Any guy that comes into this league,
any quarterback come in the league and turn into the next GOAT.
He has the opportunity.
What the phrase ceiling means.
Has the opportunity. Am I wrong, Anthony?
Jaden Daniels.
Nah. He has the opportunity.
I test Daniels. Yes.
With Drake May and Jaden Daniels, okay, so here's all the what ifs though. Because May got stuck on a floundering team. Daniels got handed a team the way Mahomes got handed a team, bro. Washington was already good. They were already good. And they had potential to be the best. And then they got a franchise quarterback that makes them, holy shit, that's a top 5 team.
Jets have a lot of potential this year, believe it or not.
Who?
The Jets.
You're darn right the Jets have a lot of potential.
They've already have the talent.
And I'm not going to cap their roof either, really. It kind of sucks to have to do that because it's so up in the air right now, man. Like the Bills and the Chiefs could just totally piss out. We could both just not even make playoffs this year. You don't know.
Justin Fields has been the product, in my opinion, of bad systems. So yes. I really have a lot of hope for Fields as a player on that team. I see it, Richie.
Come on, you guys. I support them Jets. I hope they feel better a little bit. They've been having some hard years, you guys. You remember how bad it sucked. Yeah, they've been having hard years too, guys. And I like Jets fans. They're not so bad. They take it a beating. I mean, it's hard not to be that dog that's backed into a corner that doesn't go, right? And they're good boys because me and Anthony have gone and hung out with them guys in New York at a Jets-Patriots game, and they were really very gracious to both of us. They were very nice people, all of them. Love Jets fans, dude. I mean, obviously, I'm cool with Bills fans. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm cool with you guys, right?
What are you? No.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I like you guys.
You're cool with Anthony and I because Anthony and I think, are more down-to-earth type of people. But are you really cool with Bills fans?
I hope so, because I don't hold anything against you.
Don't float, my friend.
You know what? I don't hold anything against Bills fans at all. I thought our rivalry was one of the good, clean rivalries. I like to think of it as that. And then there's always some bad apples because I know that there's probably Chiefs fans that are just douches to you guys, right?
Yeah.
And I don't do that. But as far as when I meet a guy like Izzy or somebody, man, it's not a hate rivalry. It's a, hey, bro, you guys are kicking ass. And he's like, you guys are kicking ass too. We're like, sweet, like with Anthony. Well, we kind of root for each other's team till the very last game. Very last game, we sit there and go, and chew our nails.
Anyhow, it's 10:55. It's getting late. It's time
Yeah,
for me to
we've
peace
gone
out.
actually 25
Always
minutes
fun
longer.
talking with you guys.
Thanks, DF. Love you, brother. And
Yeah,
yes,
a lot of trouble with you, King Jesus Christ.
do what? What did he say to me?
Getting in trouble. something about trouble.
We get him in trouble because we keep him up too late, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we've stayed up too late too. We should probably cut her off, brother.
We got 5 minutes. We can at least.
All right, sounds
5
good.
more minutes. Might as well make it to 9. It's already
Might as
8:55 as it
well.
is. I try to get Mattress on here. He doesn't want to talk. I think he's
What?
drunk anyways.
I like Matt, dude. Matt's a Colts fan, bro. Those guys have our fucking number. Goddamn Colts. I don't care how good or bad my team is. The Colts beat the Chiefs. It feels like every single time we play, too.
Hey, they have a kid that was the quarterback of the Giants. That's now a quarterback of their team.
Oh, they got Daniel, huh?
Yeah, Daniel. What's his
Daniel
name?
Jones, bro.
Daniel Jones. Yeah,
He's a tough kid, bro. He's a tough kid. That's a good fit for the Colts. They could probably hit a playoff with that kid. Oh, that's what
they have some good talent, man. They do have some good talent. I'm picking them to be the sleeper to beat that division. That's my
always got
pick.
good talent.
That's my
dude.
sleeper. The Colts are my sleeper team to beat that to win that division. Telling you.
The Colts they've always got good talent, and it pisses me off that they own the Chiefs. It's like the only team, seriously. It's the only team that just fucking seems to get us. Like, no matter when, no matter where, it's a hell of a team. They've always had great coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Although they have switched up on some coaching, huh?
Well, I mean, if you got a quarterback that quits in the middle of the game, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know.
Yeah, that's not good. Dude.
Hopefully this year will be different for them.
Embarrassing, isn't it?
You know, you got to be a leader. You got to lead. You can't just quit in the middle of something. You just got to keep going. You got to keep trugging along.
Well, you're a Marine. You think different than a lot of people.
Even though you want to quit, you just got to keep chugging.
Totally, bro. Well, what are we going to end with, bro? We got 3 minutes.
Well, we got the draft. We're going to do a draft party on Thursday coming up. Sunday we can talk about it. Maybe we get
So is the draft televised?
It'll be on ESPN.
ESPN.
So, yes.
So you're going to have to do the play-by-play for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about each guy from there. Then I can do some research and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think I'm gonna come over for a Thursday night thing when we can do it like this, and you could just give me a play-by-play, right?
Yeah.
Can you set up in your living room and put on your ESPN and do the calls on who gets what picks?
We can get a hold of Buck and Bob and see if they want to join us.
That'd be fat, bro. I'll watch it. Like, I'm gonna try to get it to stream at least. Give me the updates and stuff.
You know what I can do? I'll tell you what. I have my YouTube TV because it's on internet. It's streamed through internet anyways.
Okay.
Why don't we?
You want to do that thing again?
I'll just come over to your house.
Okay.
Let's and I'll bring my laptop and I'll just put it on mute and we'll just watch it together. We'll put my laptop next to yours.
Okay, perfect.
And then we'll stream on your laptop, and then on the other one, we'll just sit in there, watch it, and we'll talk about it.
I'm totally down with that.
You know, we could do that. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
You know, and then we can try to get Buck and Bob. Buck and Bob, we'll get with them and see if they want to collaborate with us and get on there. And,
well, yeah, I can set this up so they can stream it from their places too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my drinking days are over, so I just got some bad news from the doctor, so I can't drink.
Really?
So it's what it is. It's life. So I'm done drinking.
So you're saying I got a designated driver?
Yeah.
I just trying to find the bright side, bro.
Yeah.
What's up? Are you okay, man?
I'm good. It's just
Okay.
what it is. It's life.
Just need to make a couple health changes and
Yeah,
be happy.
it's not going to be forever. It's just for now.
Yeah, make the doc happy. Sure.
So, and maybe things will change for the better. And I got to eat better. I got to change my diet a little bit. I got to do some things, take care of myself. So
meat and taters.
Put some more fruits and vegetables in my body.
Ah, okay. Too much meat and taters.
Yeah, I eat too much meat and taters.
I like meat and taters.
Yeah, I do too. So I gotta do better.
The best I think I felt was for like forever. I just ate whatever the hell I wanted. Okay, right? But then about every other day during the week, I would have a salad for lunch, and that just kind of made me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I lost a little bit of weight and stuff, but I'm getting older, man. It's not like I'm working out or anything. Shit. I figure I deserve it. I'm in my 50s. I'm gonna be 60 in no time at all. It feels like.
Richie, it ain't gonna happen. With the 30th pick, the Buffalo Bills will not trade their pick to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Richie, that's messed up, dude. That's pretty funny, man. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I can look at that. I appreciate that, Richie. I'll look into that.
So I noticed, like, I had gout, a lot of uric acid, and this doesn't help at all, right?
Yeah.
So one of those old wives' tale kind of cure things was cherry juice, like concentrate. So you could go buy these bottles of cherry concentrate, and then every morning you just take a shot glass, fill it up, and bang, have a shot of that. Shit, dude, no more gout for like a year and a half. And then after that year and a half, like I could start feeling it again. And then shit, just bought another bottle of that cherry juice. Every morning, it's like it was a shot of whiskey, but it was just pure cherry juice. And it was a little bit sour, but that shit really does like kill all that uric acid for some reason. It got rid of the gout. It was the most amazing thing I've ever even done. Because that shit was hurting when I walked, man. It felt like I was walking on needles and shit.
Yeah.
And you want to see a chicken dance? Watch me walk out to the mailbox with bare feet on a clean driveway. And I said, ow, right? I got these sensitive ass feet. And so gout was killing me, bro. It was killing me. It was weird. Those little remedies, like what Richie Fresh said there, sometimes that shit really works, man. It just depends on do I try it? And I figured it was cherry juice. What the hell can that hurt? Nothing. It only helped, man. Grape juice helps your blood flow, bro. Just like concentrate, like grape concentrate. Take it like a shot. Oh, check this out, man. I was actually reading some literature on this. I know you're gonna have to sit through this. It's only gonna be like a minute. So I was reading this literature on brains or stem cells. Stem cells. Not like your brain cells, because your brain cells just shut down, right?
Yeah.
But a bowl of like dark chocolate melted enough where you could sip it, like not a giant bowl, but like a cup, like a coffee cup, okay? It will actually make stem cells reproduce in your body, right? Like it helps all the stem cells, like it creates stem cells, and then your body heals itself from a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And they're saying that like that's why the Incans and the Mayans and such could take all these horrible injuries from those fucking sharpened rock weapons and clubs and stuff and still just heal and be fine. Because that's one of their diet was like they'd just drink a bowl of chocolate every night before they went to bed. I mean, How's that? That's pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stem cells, dark chocolate. Really? A coffee cup full of that stuff? You could buy it in the big bars and just like melt like a few pieces
Right.
of it. And just like sip it down and stuff. But I mean, sounds good. Just doesn't mix with my beer very well.
That is totally true. It's a time and place for drugs, but there are so many things from Mother Nature that heals. Inflammation is the biggest culprit of most health issues, as well as stress.
Yeah, Anthony, I concur. Stress will really fuck a guy up, dude. It'll take its toll, bro. I know this 100%. It really, it's not good for us.
No,
it's not good for us. It doesn't make us treat the people around us right.
No,
you know, it's too bad that there's not like a magic switch we could flip, you know, just to knock it off.
Yeah.
But I've been pretty antsy my whole goddamn life, you know. So my stress magnifies itself by itself.
Right. Same. I'm always high strung as it is already.
Yeah, my brain won't let me forget it.
Being a single parent and then dealing with other things on top of that, it is what it is. So
for real, bro. For real. I love you, Anthony, and I hope you don't stress too much anymore. I hope
I'm working on that. I see a counselor at the VA. I see him every 2 weeks. So I'm working on things.
Try that chocolate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. After I read that, I was like, I'm gonna go buy some chocolate. Probably tomorrow after work on the way home. I'm gonna try it this weekend.
Here you go to end the night. The key to a happy life is accepting the fact that you're never truly in control. Take that for what it's worth. It's true. Never control with anything. Things happen.
I think what made me a lot happier in my life was when I finally realized that I don't have to be like that strong all the time, you know, because a guy thinks he got to be strong all the time. And then when I realized that it was okay to understand I can be sad, you know, it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to feel the other emotions, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of the bad thing about being a guy is we're trained our whole lives. Stop crying, pussy, you know, man up, you know, give your balls a tug or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But
drop your purse.
Yeah. Totally, bro. And so when I realized that, goddamn, you know, maybe we don't have to be that strong all the time. That kind of helped a bit, you know. That helped a little bit. It's too bad that guys are raised like that, right?
But yeah, that's the masculinity that.
Well, but you know, not all guys are raised like that. But what do? We go fag or whatever the guys say. You know, oh, look at this sissy. You know, and that's a travesty, really, because just because the guy is okay with emotions doesn't mean he's a sis.
No, probably more of a threat than you think.
It's like it's probably shocking when they see you and me. We see each other, we give each other a hug, and I say, "I love you, bro," and you're like, "Love you, bro." You know, like we're okay with that, you know. And then other dudes are like, "What the fuck is going on?" Well, I mean, maybe you don't understand, but like some people are just okay with that. Bikers have always been okay with that. I mean, everywhere I've ever seen, I'll see two big old scary ass bikers give each other a hug and be like, "I love you, brother." You know. So it's okay to feel, you know.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like I want to hold your hand and skip unless you've given me too much goddamn whiskey. And then I'm like, hold my hand while we skip. Do this. And you're like, I don't do that. I said, it makes my wife giggle. Well, let's go skip.
Right.
But yeah, man, I love you, Anthony.
I love you too, my brother.
Richie, I love you too, brother. Hope everything's good, man.
Well, to everybody out there, man, we love you guys, and thank you for supporting us each and every time we're on here. And
if you want to support us, we've got this this is the only way you could buy us a cup of coffee. Let me see if I can put this where it's
There you go, right there.
right there. This is the only way I know you guys could buy us a cup of coffee or something. And then I will share everything with Anthony, and he knows it. And much love, boys and girls.
See you Sunday.
Everybody.
Sunday, Easter Sunday. Are we going to be here on Easter Sunday, or
Gosh,
we could
I'm
talk
okay
about
with it. I think by that time the kids will be pretty strung out on candy, and they'll leave me alone. So maybe Sunday evening we'll do it. We'll talk about it, and you let me know what time. We'll stick.
Yeah, for sure. All right, my brother.
Thanks, Richie Fresh. He said he was going to send us a coffee, man. That's pretty boss, brother. All right, everybody, have a great evening and much love and respect.
Go Bills.
Go Chiefs.